So, welcome back to the Gurmukh Series, where we delve into the lives of many different great Guru Sikhs in our Itihas, many names that we may have heard of. We've gone through Sant Har Singh Ji Jeevani, Sant Baba Ishar Singh Ji, Rara Sahib Wale, Sant Baba Sham Singh Ji went through a few months ago as well, part two. So now we're quite blessed because you had part one and part two, maybe in the future, now part three and part four, because the Jeevanis of these great Guru Sikhs are quite lucky in a lot of cases because there's a lot of content, materials available for them. And today we're very blessed to go through another Mahapurush, another Gurmukh in our Sikh Itihas not so long ago, and that is Sant Baba Nand Singh Ji, who we're going through today. So just passing over to Gyani Jeevpal Singh Ji, just to go for an introduction. Name's quite familiar to a lot of people. This is quite special as well because it's the 80th Barsi, if I'm correct.
Anji.
So who is Baba Nand Singh Ji, and what is the reason for doing this Gurmukh series today on their Jeevan?
So Baba Nand Singh Ji, for a long time, I think we all knew this podcast was going to come because of how well known you could say Baba Nand Singh Ji is. If you ask anyone, what's a Mahapurush's name that you know, Baba Nand Singh Ji, their name would definitely be there.
That's true.
So Baba Nand Singh Ji, we all know Baba Nand Singh Ji, but a lot of their early life, I don't think it's been explored much, especially in English. So Baba Nand Singh Ji was that Mahapurush sent by Sri Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj to restore the Satkar of Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji and to join us to Guru Nanak Dev Ji. So if we want to see in this age someone who was a true ashik, a true lover of Guru Nanak Dev Ji, you just need to read Baba Nand Singh Ji Jeevani. So we'll start with a dohra that we all are familiar with. Agya pei akal ki, tabi chalayo panth, sab sikhn ko hukm hai, Guru manyo Granth. So a lot of people have this doubt that this dohra is come afterwards, because one of the Granths that we find this dohra in is Gyani Gyan Singh's Panth Prakash.
Anji.
So a lot of people have this doubt that eta baad vich likhya gaya. This is a dohra which has been written recently. So it's not historically authentic, this dohra. But as we've learned, is that the actual origin of this dohra is from the diary of Bhai Har Singh Ji. So who was Bhai Har Singh Ji? Bhai Har Singh Ji was the Hazuri Gursikh of Sri Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj. They stayed with Guru Gobind Singh Ji and they used to write the diary of Guru Gobind Singh Ji daily. So who was Maharaj meeting? Which bhajan did they do with certain emperors or Gursikhs, whoever was coming to meet Maharaj? What was the daily events? And all, especially the time leading up to Guru Gobind Singh Ji Jyoti Jyot, Bhai Har Singh Ji wrote down all of that. And this dohra, as Guru Gobind Singh Ji recited it at the time of the Gurta Gaddi of Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj, Bhai Har Singh Ji wrote this down. Guru Granth Ji maniya pragat guran ki deh, jo prab ko milyo chah, khoj sabad mahale. So you can see slight differences in the spelling there. We're probably all used to saying Guru Granth Ji maniyo and jo prab ko milbo chah.
Yeah.
So the reason why there's a slight difference here is because when Sant Gyani Guru Bachan Singh Ji went to Sachkhand Sri Hazur Sahib, this diary used to be kept with the Jathedar of Takht Sachkhand Sri Hazur Sahib. And it was kept very safely. And Sant Gyani Guru Bachan Singh Ji, they asked to read this diary. So at the time, Sant Gyani Guru Bachan Singh Ji used to reside at Gurdwara Langar Sahib. And they used to katha there daily. And as I've heard from Gyani Pritam Singh Ji, at that time, Sant Gyani Guru Bachan Singh Ji, they told the Singhs to read this whole Granth to them. And then they also did katha of this whole Granth to the Singhs. So the Singhs and the Jatha, they would have heard the whole of the diary. And in this diary, that whole prasang about the Gurta Gaddi to Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji is written. And these words, as it was written in Bhai Har Singh Ji's diary, the Singhs copied it down. So in the Gutka Sahib, which is published by Sant Gyani Mohan Singh Ji exactly how the Singhs saw it in the diary. They've written the Dohra in that manner.
Yep.
So that's why Guru Granth Ji maniya pragat Guran ki deh. So these bachans, the reason I brought this up is because all of us read this, but who truly followed this in this age is Baba Nand Singh Ji. Because they truly saw Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji as the manifestation of Sri Guru Nanak Dev Ji. When we say Pragat Guran ki De, that this is the very body of the Gurus, Baba Nand Singh Ji not only used to say it, they used to every single day have darshan of Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj from Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji. And the seva they did and the way they taught us to do seva of Guru Granth Sahib Ji is in that manner. So, Baba Nand Singh Ji, they were here to join us to Guru Nanak Dev Ji and Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji. So I'll just give a very small Sakhi because today we're not really going to delve into the later parts of Baba Nand Singh Ji's life. That would be in another podcast. And those are like the really interesting Sakhis or the bhajans they did to various Gursikhs. It's going to be really interesting. But today we're not really going to go too much into that. So I'll give you one Sakhi from Sant Baba Sujaan Singh Ji. Sant Sujaan Singh Ji was the Kirtani of Baba Nand Singh Ji. Their Kirtan is beautiful. So all of their Kirtan, so much of their Kirtan is available online. And in them, they do a lot of bhajans about their personal conversations with Baba Nand Singh Ji. So Sant Sujaan Singh Ji told their Sakhi that once at Nanaksar Kaleran, so we've been to Nanaksar, I'm sure you've been there as well.
Anji.
When you go to Nanaksar, one thing that will strike you is where Baba Nand Singh Ji used to sit. So as soon as you enter the main asthan where they do the Purnamashi Divan, you'll see that lower than even where the Kirtanis are and lower than where the Sangat is. Obviously, Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj is at the highest level. Then the second level is of the Kirtanis and then the Sangat. Even lower than that is where Baba Nand Singh Ji used to sit. So it's commonly known that Baba Ji toa put ke bende sige.
What did they used to do that for?
So this was their nimrata. So Baba Ji was showing that they're lower than everyone else. So every single day when Baba Nand Singh Ji used to come from the Bhora Sahib, and I don't know if you've had darshan of the Bhora Sahib. Have you been down there?
I was going to, but we were discussing what you have to do in return of going down there. So at that time we decided not to go down.
So this might go on a little bit of a tangent, but even now when we went to India in February, I don't think you were there when we went to Nanaksar. I think it's before you arrived.
Hanji.
So we went there and the Mahina that we went, it was Maghada Mahina. So Maghada Mahina, it's said that Baba Nand Singh Ji or Baba Ishar Singh Ji, who was after Baba Nand Singh Ji, they did this bhajan that in the Mahina of Magh, you can have darshan of the Sachkhand for free or the Bhora Sahib. So I told all the Singhs that it's free and you don't need to do the job. When we went there, what we found out later is that that's only in the evenings and the morning.
Okay.
So if you want to go in the middle of the day, you still got to do the job.
Okay. Then.
So we went there and it was the last day of Magh. So the day after we went, it would have been Sangrant. So we went there, thought the Singhs all thinking we won't need to do the job. So just so the people who don't know is that Baba Nand Singh Ji, where they used to actually stay, is a Bhora Sahib. So Bhora Sahib means that it's an underground chamber, or underground, what would you call it?
I would say cave, but I don't know if that's the right word.
It's not a cave, so it's been made. It's like a basement, you could say.
Yeah, that's the word.
And it's quite big. And underground, they had a sthan where they used to do Prakash of Guru Granth Sahib Ji separate. And then their own sthan where they would do Ishnan, where they had their tapasthan. When you go down there, you can see where they used to tie their hair to a killi so that they wouldn't fall asleep. And they would be doing a bias all night. So all them asthans are there. And obviously, it's the energy there is just something else. Because that's where Baba Nand Singh Ji did Bhagti. So that asthan, Baba Ishar Singh Ji, Nanaksar Wale, they set like a payment. So when you go into that asthan, you got to give something. And what's that? You got to do job. So the job is either, if you want to have darshan of that asthan, then you've got to do a Sahaj Path. If you can't do a Sahaj Path, then you got to do 50 Sukhmani Sahibs, which is about 2 Sukhmani Sahibs every day for a month. Or 10 Japji Sahibs a day for a month. Or is 6 malas of Mool Mantar for a month. Or 80 malas of Gur Mantar. or even if you're a Muslim or a Hindu, and because there's a lot of Shardalus from different faith in Baba Nand Singh Ji in Punjab, then even they have a job. So they have to do Ram Ram, or they do Allah Allah. So that Dargahi Prashad, they call it. And you got to promise to do that job. So you don't need to do the job before you go there. It's once you've had darshan, you got to do the job, right?
Is it a month, 40 days? Do you know?
It's a month. So for like 1 month, you got to do it. So I told the Singhs, and then the Singhs were a bit, we got to do the job now. But then I had a vichar. I was just standing there, I had this vichar that Baba Nand Singh Ji, look, is the 80th Barsi now. But even to this day, how many people are there making them do Bhagti? If we never went to that Bhora Sahib, we wouldn't have done the Male. We wouldn't have done the Sukhmi Sahibs. Appa ta mehnat karde nahi. We never have that furna ke aap bani padhiye, appa abhyas kariye. But uthe karan jaan karke, we're going to have to do it. We're going to feel obliged, we got to do this now. So dekho ye Mahapurushan di kamai hai, that even though they're not here in a bodily form, they're still making us do abhyas. So in reality, like, we shouldn't feel like it's something like an extra boj.
Yeah.
It's them making us do bhakti, you know. So that Bhora Sahib is where Baba Nand Singh used to reside, and then they used to come outside of that Bhora Sahib and sit in the sangat and listen to the kirtan every single day. So one day, so this is coming back to the point, why did Baba Nand Singh Ji come to this earth? They came here to join us to Guru Nanak Dev Ji. And Sant Sujaan Singh Ji tells his own experience in the one of his recordings. And he says that Baba Nand Singh Ji came into the sangat and they sat in that dua, which is like this ditch, you could say. What's a better word for a dua?
I'll say ditch as well.
Yeah, so it's made lower than everyone else. And Babaji sat there, and then there's a very famous picture with their baragan. So if you can't see it, you'll see the baragan here. Is that coming in the camera, right?
You could put a picture on the screen.
Yeah. So baragan is like this wooden T-shape instrument, tool, you could say, which is used by Mahapurush and Gursikhs, that when they're sitting for crazy hours, that their body doesn't fall over. Because when they go into the state of samadhi, you lose all conscious of your body. So that would keep them upright. So Babaji would take their baragan and they would go into samadhi. And the Singhs used to do kirtan. So it's a very particular maryada and Nanaksar of the daily schedule. And maybe in the next podcast we go through it. But every single day, without fail, there will be katha and kirtan in the evening. And katha would take place from the Freed Kotika. And Babaji would listen to it themselves. And then kirtan would start. And the kirtan as well, it would be in the traditional manner. So it would be starting with a shan, then a shabad from rag, and then they would take a shabad from, you can call it a take. Take means taking like one line of a shabad. Then they would sing that for like an hour, right? But then in between, they would use paramans. So paramans is like other, paraman basically means like an evidence or like a reference from Gurbani. So if you have one shabad, for example, something to do with darshan, you know? What's the shabad to do with darshan? Darshan dekh jiva gur tera. Then the paramans would all be to do with darshan. So you'd only sing darshan dekh jiva gur tera, then you'd stop, then you do like loads of paramans. So if you go to any Nanaksar Gurdwara and hear the style of kirtan, that's how they do the kirtan. So that sort of Pratan way of doing kirtan that still survives in the sthans of Nanaksar, and they do this daily. So Babaji would come out and sit down, and at the time Sant Sujaan Singh Ji was one of the kirtanis. And Sant Sujaan Singh Ji says that day when Babaji came and sat down, and they're facing Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji. Guru Granth Sahib Ji is in the Sachkhand, Baba Nand Singh Ji is in the Dua, and the kirtanis are sitting on this side, and the kirtanis have a full view of Baba Nand Singh Ji. And the prakash that was coming from Baba Nand Singh Ji's mukh, from their face, was such that Sant Sujaan Singh says I couldn't stop looking at them. That just the anand I was getting. So Sant Sujaan Singh is doing kirtan, but his eyes are fixated on Baba Nand Singh Ji. And you've probably seen that photo, we'll put it up, of Baba Nand Singh Ji on the baragan and their heads kind of tilted. And you can just see like they're in total anand. So Babaji is sitting there and they're in samadhi. Their eyes are closed, right? they can't see physically, you can say. Their eyes aren't open to see what Sant Sujaan Singh is doing. Sant Sujaan Singh singing the Kirtan, he's just looking at Baba Nand Singh constantly, like for several minutes. He's just fixated. All of a sudden, Baba Nand Singh Ji opens his eyes, and his eyes meet directly with Sant Sujaan Singh straight away. And all they do is like that towards Guru Granth Sahib Ji. Right? Ishara matri hai, bahute bachan di lod nahi hai. Said, why are you looking at me for? Guru Nanak Sahib Ji utthe baithe hai, tu mere wal dekhi janda. So Sant Sujaan Singh tells his Sakhi, that just shows in that one ishara what Baba Nand Singh Ji was here for. They were here to join us to Guru Granth Sahib Ji. And we'll have other Sakhis later on about how they did that practically.
Thank you for sharing that. Even when you were sharing that story, I can imagine in my head that happening as well. It's very powerful, and that's something for all of us to be excited about and look forward to hearing about in the future podcasts as well. But just like any other podcast that we've done on these Gurmukhs, can we just start off with when they came on this earth and also their family as well, Mata Pitaji?
So as we were saying before the podcast, there's a lot of sources on Babaji's life, and I was kind of juggling between all of them. And there's some conflicting sort of dates and stuff. So, pehlai maafi mang lenda. So, what I've come to sort of the final date, I think, is that 1870. So, this is 1927 Bikrami, which translates to 1870 in Common Era. And the date that is written is Tera Kattak, which is quite sort of fitting because Babaji's life was all about Tera. Everything is yours, Guru Nanak Dev Ji's. And the day was Purnamashi, and they were born, or they took Prakash, you could say, at 3:13 a.m. So again,
not
13. So 3:13 a.m. Tera. Yeah. So Baba Nand Singh Ji, their Pitaji was Sardar Jai Singh Ji, and Mata Sadda Kaur Ji. And their family, traditionally, their background was they were carpenters. So they used to do woodwork, but also they had, as was common during that time in Punjab, they also had khetiyan as well. So they would do farming as well. And the Naggar that Sant Baba Nand Singh Ji was born in is Sherpur Kala, which is not too far from where Nanaksar is now. So it's also part of Ne Jagrao. And there's a sthan made there as well now. So Sardar Jai Singh Ji had 4 sons. The eldest was Bhai Santa Singh Ji, then Bhai Bhagat Singh Ji, Bhai Jagat Singh Ji, and the 4th and the youngest was Baba Nand Singh Ji. And it's said that at the time that Baba Nand Singh Ji was born, at that time there was a Adput Prakash. So it's similar to how we hear when Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj took Prakash, and there was just this light everywhere. And Gursikhs during that time, they also remember Baba Nand Singh Ji's time, this sort of light. And there's a little anecdote about at that time, in the house, they used to have a lot of paid. And one of the paid, it would usually only give chullik dud. That means like a handful of dud. And as we know in Punjab, we have various sort of things that when something happens, we take it as a good omen. Like in a pind, these are common things. They also make you hear that when Baba Nand Singh Ji took Prakash, at that time, that paid that would only give like a chulli of dud, like a mouthful, it gave a whole ser, which is quite a bit. And then Baba Nand Singh Ji's Dada Ji, they remarked that this child who's come, bhagga wala hoga, bahut ine sada naam nu bahut roshan karna hai. Because they would look at these things in nature and they would take sort of good omens, or that's how even now I'm sure like your grandparents or elders they say these sort of things, right?
Yeah.
So obviously you could say this is a superstition or something, but the gal was true that Baba Nand Singh Ji, they were agami jot, they were sent by Vaheguru, they were sent by Guru Nanak Dev Ji to restore Dharam. When we said it before in a previous podcast that whenever a time comes where Gursikhs are going away from the teachings of Guru Sahib always sends these Mahapurush, and they restore our faith in Sikhi, and they join us back to Guru Sahib. So Baba Nand Singh Ji's Mataji is known that whenever any Gursikh or Mahapurush was passing the pind, they would encourage all the neighboring Matawa and Bibiyan कि आप इकट्ठे होके let's get all the atta. So let's all chip in, let's say, from every house, bring a handful of atta. Because if you put all that responsibility on one person, then it's quite difficult. So all the Bibiyan will come together, they will bring the atta together, make parshada. Any passing Gursikh, Mahapurish, Sadhu, they would make parshada for them and then shaka them langar. And in that way, Mata Sadda Kaur ji, they received all these blessings of all these Mahapurish. So that's just about the sort of the birth of Baba Nand Singh Ji.
And then just like other Mahapurish, you'll see that they had somebody in their life that inspired them from a young age. What about Baba Nand Singh Ji? Was there anybody in their childhood that stood out?
So Baba Nand Singh Ji's first inspiration was their brother, Bhai Bhagat Singh Ji. So Bhai Bhagat Singh Ji at that time, in the Pind, they were one of the only educated person in the whole Pind. They had studied Urdu, Farsi, Gurmukhi. And this was a tradition in the old times that Gursikhs would come together every night and they would listen to Sakhiyan. So this tradition is fading away from the current time. If you go to a Pind now, I don't see this happening. But during that time, this was the norm in every Pind. The person who was educated in that Pind, like we have what we call a Sat. Sat is that place in the Pind where there's like this massive tree and they have this platform around it. And they still have it in Pinds now, but you'll see all the elderly Babbe are sitting there. They might be playing cards or they may be doing vichar. And everyone, it's like a meeting point, right? And that Gursikh who had learned Gurmukhi, they would bring their Pothis with them, of Janam Sakhi. When you read Sekh Nehya, or Baba Har Singh Ji's Jeevani, ਉਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਵੀ ਲਿਖਿਆ ਆ ਕਿ every single night Baba Har Singh Ji would read Kalgitar Chamtkar by Bhai Veer Singh Ji. And not only read it themselves, they would get a Gursikh to read it, and all the Sangat who was sitting there, they would listen to the Sakhiyan as well. Janam Sakhi. So, Suraj Prakash di Katha, Bhai Bhagat Singh could do it, because he had the Pothiyan, he could read it. And also, Janam Sakhi khas karke, that used to be read. Even, I remember when I was a very small child, I found the Janam Sakhi in my grandparents' room.
So just for those that don't know, what is the Janam Sakhi?
So the Janam Sakhi is that Pothi Sahib which Nanak Prakash is based on. Janam Sakhi is the life story of Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj.
Okay.
And it's written by Bhai Balaji, written, you can say, by Bhai Pera Mokha Ji. But it's Bhai Balaji telling Guru Angad Dev Ji the Sakhi of Guru Nanak Dev Ji's life. And if you want to know more about that, then you can listen to Nanak Prakash Katha or read the Pothi Sahib. So, Nanak Prakash is like a poetic version, but the Janam Sakhi is a Vartik roop. So when you read the Janam Sakhi, when you read it, you can tell it's just like someone talking. So that's why that would be more sort of used in the Pinds. Because unless you have gone to a Taksal and studied poetry and studied how to do Katha, then you could do Nanak Prakash Katha. But Janam Sakhi, anyone can read it. It's not too hard. And the language is like old Punjabi. So I was saying about my grandparents as well. Even my grandparents, maybe your grandparents' generation, Janam Sakhi is something they would read. So I found the Pothi in my grandparents' room. I remember my Baba used to read it. So that generation, Janam Sakhi was a normal thing in Pinds. And that's how they were joined to Guru Nanak Dev Ji's life. So Bhai Bhagat Singh Ji, every single night, after all the Pind had prasada shak liya, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਸੀ ਕਿ Bhai Bhagat Singh Ji will be sitting in the Sat and they're going to do Katha of Janam Sakhi. So it was an exciting time. Everyone used to come to the middle of the Pind. And also there was no tel de dive or laltan. Laltan means like the lanterns that we see that came more later on in the British period. Also pinda de vich saro de tel de hi dive hunde si. So just like a diva, they'd have the diva, and as the sun is setting, Bhai Bhagat Singh Ji will be reading the Janam Sakhi, all the Pind used to be listening to it. So as Baba Nand Singh Ji is born, and they're about 5 years old. So imagine this 5-year-old child, have a look at 5-year-old child nowadays. What is their interest? Toys and playing and stuff. Baba Nand Singh Ji, they had this sangat of their elder brother, and they listened to the Janam Sakhi every day. And a Sakhi comes in that Janam Sakhi, and I've taken out the Sakhi from Sikha di Bhagti. So Sikha di Bhagti is the Granth written from the bachans of Bhai Mani Singh Ji. Because you have the 11वीं var, so in Bhai Gurdas Ji's Vara, you have the 11th var. In the 11th var, Bhai Gurdas Ji has written all the names of the famous Gursikhs, from Guru Nanak Dev Ji to Guru Har Gobind Ji. And a Gursikh came to Bhai Mani Singh Ji asking that Bhai Gurdas Ji has written these names, but there's no Sakhi of them, right? They've just listed out all the names. So, Kirpa karke sanu Sakhiyan daso. Bhai Mani Singh Ji says that, in fact, I asked Guru Gobind Singh Ji the same question. And Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj told me all the Sakhiyan. So, I'll tell you all the Sakhiyan. So, that's amazing Granth, Sikhan di Bhagti. And I think Bibi Guru Preet Kaur is doing sections of that on the basis of Sikhi channels as well. Correct, yeah. So, you can go and listen to those. So, the Sakhi that I found corresponding is that Bhai Taru Popat Ji is the first Sakhi, I think, that comes in Sikha di Bhagti. And Baba Nand Singh Ji is listening to this Sakhi, and this Sakhi had the effect on them. As soon as they heard this Sakhi, their virag started. And this is the start of their journey. So the Sakhi is not too long, so we'll go through it. So, Taru Popat Sikh Pehli Padshahi nu milya hai, Barsa Dasan di Arja Usti Haisi. So, Bhai Taru Ji was only 10 years old when they went and they had darshan of Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj. ਸਾਹਿਬ ਦੇ ਦਰਸ਼ਨ ਨੂੰ ਆਇਆ ਤੇ ਅਰਦਾਸ ਕੀਤੀ ਇਸ ਗਰੀਬ ਨਵਾਜ ਸੁਣਿਆ ਹੈ ਜੋ ਸੰਤਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਮਿਲਦਾ ਹੈ ਤਿਸ ਨੂੰ ਸ਼ਾਂਤ ਪ੍ਰਾਪਤ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ ਮੈਂ ਵੀ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਸ਼ਰਨ ਆਇਆ ਹਾਂ. So this 10-year-old child goes to Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj and says, O protector of the poor, I've heard that those who go to the sanctuary of the saints, they receive peace, they receive shanti. So that's why I've come to your sanctuary, I want shanti as well. ਤਾਂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਬਚਨ ਕੀਤਾ ਭਾਈ ਤਾਰੂ ਅਜੇ ਤੇਰੀ ਛੋਟੀ ਅਵਸਥਾ ਹੈ ਤੁਧ ਆਪਣੇ ਘਰ-ਬਾਰ ਦਾ ਸੁੱਖ ਕੋਈ ਨਹੀਂ ਮਾਣਿਆ ਤੈਨੇ ਪਰਮੇਸ਼ਰ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਕਿੱਥੋਂ ਜਾਤੀ ਹੈ. So Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj said that, oh Bhai Taru, you're only 10 years old. 10-year-old child doesn't have these sort of soch, है ना. ਤੇ ਤੁਧ ਆਪਣੇ ਘਰ-ਬਾਰ ਦੀ ਸੁੱਖ ਕੋਈ ਨਹੀਂ ਮਾਣਿਆ. That 10-year-old child hasn't got married yet, hasn't experienced any of the sukh of ਘਰ-ਬਾਰ ਗ੍ਰਿਸ਼ਤੀ ਜੀਵਨ. ਤੇ how are you talking about ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ? ਆਮ ਕਰਕੇ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਤਾਂ ਜਦੋਂ ਲੋਕ ਬੁੱਢੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਆ ਹਨਾ ਫਿਰ ਕੋਈ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਕਰਦਾ. This is the way of the world. That when someone is of an elder age, they start to think about these questions. Or at least someone matures. So you can say when someone comes to that age when they're like, we can think ourselves. It's only when we maybe started high school or university or something, we start to think deeper about our life. Before you're just in like the sort of innocence.
Play mode.
Playing and chilling and stuff. So Maharaj is saying that, how are you asking this question that I want shanti? And then Bhai Taru Popat tells this story. Ta aggo bolya jo ji meri mai agan jalavan lagi si. So pehle nikkiyan lakdiyan nu agan lagi ta pichho vaddiyan pi baliyan. Ta mere man vich bhau aaya jo main pi sada nu mila jo mera pi kalyan hove. So look at this. That Bhai Taru Popat Ji, they're sitting there and their Mata Ji is preparing the balan to put it to the chulla. So what do you call it? English which? The fire stove or whatever you want to call it, right? So that fire, if you've been to a pind, you've seen the chulla, right? That's where they put the tawa on the chulla and they make the prashadda. And underneath that, you have to put the wood, the balan, which is the wood fire, so that you can give it that fuel. So Mataji is putting the lakdiyan and she's lit the fire, and this small child is just sitting there watching that, just observing it. And when he's seeing that, what does he see? Jede nikkiya lakdiyan ya, the smaller lakdiyan, piece of wood, they're catching fire first. ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਵੱਡੀਆਂ ਉਹ ਬਾਅਦ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਅੱਗ ਲੱਗ ਰਹੀ ਆ. So obviously if you're going to put a smaller one's going to go quicker, right? When he's seen that, he's thought that in my family, I'm the youngest. Yeah? And my elder brothers, usually we think that the youngest child, they've got loads of time. But when he saw that, he thought, even more can come to me as well. Now, मैं ਤਾਂ ਸੋਚਦਾ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਮੇਰੇ ਤੋਂ ਵੱਡੇ ਆ, the elders, death is going to come to them. Right? But ਇਹ ਨੇਚਰ ਦਾ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਦੇਖ ਲਓ, the way of nature is showing that even ਜਿਹੜੇ ਛੋਟੇ ਲੱਕੜੀਆਂ ਆ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਅਗਨ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਲੱਗ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈ। ਹੋ ਸਕਦਾ ਆ ਕਿ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਮੌਤ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਆ ਸਕਦੀ ਆ। I'm the youngest child, but it could be I die first and I haven't met ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ yet. So ਮੇਰੇ ਮਨ ਵਿੱਚ ਭਾਵ ਆਇਆ, ਮੈਂ ਵੀ ਸਾਧਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਮਿਲਾ ਜੋ ਮੇਰਾ ਵੀ ਕਲਿਆਣ ਦਾ। I got this fear in my mind, I need to find the Sadh Sangat. I need to find these true saints who can join me to Vaheguru. Mrit da visa nahi. So this is Bhai Tarup, over 10-year-old child saying this. Visa means parosa. There's no parosa, there's no guarantee when maut is going to come. Now, you can't say कि बहुत समय हैगा मेरे कोल, ना हम आदमी हाँ एकदम ही मोहलत मौत ना जाना. We don't know about next breath. So Maharaj then heard all this and said, Taru, tu kul Taru hovega. That your name is Taru and you are going to ferry across all your family to Sachkhand. ਧਰਮ ਦੀ ਕਿਰਤ ਕਰਕੇ ਵੰਡ ਖਾਵਣਾ, ਤੇ ਜੋ ਸਵਾਸ ਅੰਦਰ ਆਵੇ ਸੋ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜਪਣਾ, ਬਾਹਰ ਜਾਵੇ ਤਾਂ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜਪਣਾ, ਤੇ ਮਨ ਰਾਗ ਦਵੈਕ ਤੇ ਸ਼ੁੱਧ ਕਰਨਾ. So Guru Sahib gives this ਉਪਦੇਸ਼ ਕਿ ਸਵਾਸ with every breath, they give that Guru mantra to Bhai Taru and say that recite this with every breath and keep your mind shuddh from rag dvaik. Rag means ਕਿਸੇ ਨਾਲ ਮੋਹ ਕਰਨਾ, having attachment for someone, and dvaik means hate for someone else. So this duality, get rid of that duality. So the Sakhi carries on. Maharaj gives more upadesh, but we won't go into that. Just that Sakhi, when Baba Nand Singh Ji heard that had such a dunga asar, such a profound effect on Baba Nand Singh Ji, that he thought that I'm in that exact situation. I'm the youngest of my 4 brothers. So there's 4 brothers. I'm the youngest. And ki pata that I might be the first one to die. So how do I stay in the hazuri of that Vaheguru then? So this Vaheguru that's been taught about, how do I stay in that hazuri? And just in the age of 5, they got this vairag that I need to meet Vaheguru. So at that time, as a small child is thinking, that who do we bow to? Who do we go to and bow to? And he realized that's Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji. Then in that innocence of their mind, and you can say they knew everything anyways, they said that Nirankar is Guru Granth Sahib Ji then. So they said, we're all going and bowing to Guru Granth Sahib Ji. Then that's Vaheguru, isn't it? Then Baba Nand Singh Ji thought, I need to stay in the hazuri of Guru Granth Sahib Ji all the time then. So 5 years old. Ehi Nirankar hai. And that is not against what Gurbani is saying. Vaho Vaho Bani Nirankar hai, this Jevad Avarna Koi. So that for us, Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji is Nirankar. They're the Pratak Saroop of Vaheguru. So from that night, that changed Baba Nand Singh Ji's life. 5 years old, and from that moment, you can say their conscience never went away from Guru Granth Sahib Ji. So har waqt ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਫਿਰ ਗੁਰੂ ਗ੍ਰੰਥ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ ਨਾਲ ਹੀ ਰਹਿਣਾ. And ਪਿੰਡ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਉਸ ਸਮੇਂ there wasn't a Gurdwara Sahib, but there was a house where there was Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji. ਉੱਥੇ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਹਰ ਵਕਤ ਬਾਬਾ ਨੰਦ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੀ ਨੇ ਗੁਰੂ ਗ੍ਰੰਥ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਦੇ ਹਜ਼ੂਰੀ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੀ ਰਹਿਣਾ. So that's what we can say is the sort of turning point in Baba Nand Singh Ji's life. 5 years old, that's when everything changed.
Right, Guru. And again, I think it's very nice, even if you look at the previous podcast that we've done, because a lot of today, especially a lot of the basic Sikhi speakers as well, I'll see that they take a lot of stuff out of podcasts and they use it in their talks, which is very nice to see how these podcasts are being watched and listened to by loads of different people. And I remember when Baba Isha Singh Ji spoke a lot about their childhood and their Bhagti, and there were some amazing stories about like doing 5 Sukhmani Sahibs in like 1 hour and 15 minutes and all this kind of stuff. What about Baba Nand Singh Ji's Bhagti when in their time in childhood?
So it comes back to this bhavna. Bhavna means that faith that Baba Nand Singh Ji had, that they always wanted to remain in the hazuri of Guru Granth Sahib Ji. And remaining in the hazuri of Guru Granth Sahib Ji for them was that obviously as a child, their family expected them to be at home as well. So they couldn't always stay in front of Guru Granth Sahib Ji. They wanted to do that. That's the prem that had come inside them, that they never wanted to be away from Guru Granth Sahib Ji. But ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਫਿਰ ਇਦਾਂ ਮਨ 'ਚ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ ਕਿ if I'm not physically with Guru Granth Sahib Ji, I should be thinking about Guru Granth Sahib Ji. ਕਿ ਸੁਰਤੀ ਦੇ ਰਾਹੀਂ, via my mind's focus, I should be having darshan of Guru Granth Sahib Ji. So what Baba Nand Singh Ji started doing is that they would go to a coup. And what happened is, a thought came in Baba Nand Singh Ji's mind that when I'm awake, jadon main jagda hai, I can go to that house, I can sit in Maharaj's darbar, have their darshan and sit there all day. When I come home and I go to sleep at night, and obviously when you go into that avastha of sushupti, paskopti avastha kende ya, deep sleep, ਉਸ ਸਮੇਂ ਤਾਂ ਸਾਰਾ ਕੁਝ ਭੁੱਲ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਹੈ ਨਾ, unless you're at that stage of Brahm Gyan where you're enlightened in all the states, है ना. But Baba Nand Singh Ji's thinking that at night when I go to sleep, I can't think about Guru Granth Sahib Ji. So what happens if that maut comes at night? So again, they're coming back to that Sakhi, that I could die at any moment. So ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਉਸ ਸਮੇਂ ਜਦੋਂ ਮੈਂ ਸੌ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਆ ਤਾਂ ਫਿਰ ਕਾਲ ਦਾ ਭੈ ਬਹੁਤ ਆ, ਫਿਰ ਤੇ ਮੇਰਾ ਮਨ ਗੁਰੂ ਨਾਲ ਜੁੜਿਆ ਵੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈਗਾ, ਹੈ ਨਾ. So ਉਸ ਸਮੇਂ ਫਿਰ Baba Nand Singh Ji started doing this, right? ਉਹ ਕੀ ਕਰਦੇ ਸੀ ਕਿ all the family members used to go to sleep. They would sneak outside the house, and then bahar, on the outskirts of the pind, there was a bagh, there was a garden. In that garden, there was a kuh. There was a well there. And Baba Nand Singh Ji, again, at this age, they're like 5 years old or 6 years old, you know? They would go there, and then they would sit on the edge of the kuh. So if you've seen a kuh in Punjab, there's a bit of an edge to it. It's not just like a few bricks. You know, there's probably a few foot around the kuh, like a sort of platform that you could sit on it. And Baba Nand Singh Ji would sit there and they would just focus their mind on Guru Granth Sahib Ji. And why would they sit at the kuh? Because you can imagine, if you fall asleep at the kuh, what's going to happen?
You're going to fall in.
You're going to fall into it, right? So they thought that this is the only way I can stop myself and I'm not going to sleep. No way am I sleeping, because then I'm going to forget about Guru Granth Sahib Ji. You know? So harek raat idda karna. Ek raat, so one night, Bhai Bhagat Singh Ji, the older brother of Baba Nand Singh Ji, they wake up and they see that Baba Nand Singh Ji isn't on the manja. And then you can imagine the whole family and then some of the neighbors, they form like a search party to go and find Baba Nand Singh Ji, you know. And finally, they arrive at this kuh, you know? And they see that this young child is with his eyes closed and he's totally absorbed in Bhagti. His mind is totally absorbed and he's sitting there doing Simran. And then very quietly, Bhai Bhagat Singh Ji goes and lifts Baba Nand Singh Ji up. And then Baba Nand Singh Ji comes out of that state. And Bhai Bhagat Singh Ji asks, what are you doing? You know, it's like 12 a.m. And Baba Nand Singh Ji said that in the process of devotion and love of Sri Guru Nanak Dev Ji and Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji, if sleep overtakes, it's better to fall in the well and die rather than live that life when I'm forgetting Guru Sahib. You know? So Bhai Bhagat Singh Ji at that time, he gave advice to Baba Nand Singh Ji. He goes, "Ive daran di lod nahi." You don't need to be scared that when I go to sleep, and if I die in my sleep, my mind isn't attuned to Guru Sahib. And they kar liya kar, okay, when you go to sleep, dhyan kar on Guru Granth Sahib Ji. So before you go to sleep, do Mool Mantar da jap. And this is when Baba Ji is very young, so he hadn't had Sant here to read Sohila Sahib or anything like that. So read Mool Mantar, because all children have that memorized by that age, and then go to sleep. And when you go to sleep and your mind is attuned to Guru Granth Sahib Ji, even when you're sleeping, you'll have dreams of Guru Granth Sahib Ji. You know? So then Baba Nand Singh Ji started doing that. So that's a very famous Sakhi of Baba Nand Singh Ji, where they used to sit on the kuh. You know?
And just, if you don't mind, in like a sentence or two, you mentioned about Sohila Sahib. Just for the viewers that are listening, if somebody doesn't do Sohila Sahib every night before they go to bed, and they've done the Santya, or they could listen to it today because you have the luxury of, YouTube, SoundCloud, why should we listen to Sohila Sahib before we go to bed?
So Sohila Sahib, the Uthanaka, which is told, Uthanaka means in the Samprada, in the traditional lineages, is told, the background story, the context of Sohila Sahib, is that when Guru Sahib Ji recited it, at that time, there was a farmer who was, I think he was tending to his bakriyan and all his, in the farm. And at that time, when he's walking through and he's so absorbed and he's just reciting Sohila Sahib, and he's walking through thorns. And when that's happening, where Guru Nanak Dev Ji is sitting, the Sevaks are seeing that on Maharaj's charan, there's blood coming out. And that's because as the Gursikh was reciting Sohila Sahib, Maharaj is taking on his pain. And then Maharaj told that Gursikh that read Sohila Sahib at night. So that's when the Maryada was put in place, that Sohila Sahib is to be read before you go to sleep. And the bhajan that Maharaj gave is that even in your sleep, if it happens that you pass away, then at that time, you will be protected. So there's a lot more to the Sakhi of Sohila Sahib. There's even when Guru Arjan Dev Ji added on the other shabads, and then Rakhya De Shabad, that was added as well, where Guru Sahib Ji protects, even you could say in a physical sense. So obviously you have the spiritual sense when Maharaj protects us. If we pass away, Jamdud can't come near us, right? But even in the physical sense, at night when we go to sleep, robberies and all these sort of things, chor aa jande ya, wo bhi sakhiyan hegiyan ya, where Guru Arjan Dev Ji said that recite these sloks and no one can even in a physical sense harm you. You know? So that's the sharda that Gursikhs have. So in the same way, Baba Nand Singh Ji was instructed that tusi mool mantra da jaap kar lo.
Thank you for sharing that. And just on the basics channel, we do have Gatha on Sohila Sahib with these Uttanakas. Even on the Hang Santhya, on their website, they have the Uttanakas written out, which you can put a link to. Even on the YouTube page as well. I know you guys have done the Uttanakas in a lot of detail as well. If anything was missed out, so please do check those out. But we will put the links in the description. And just on the same topic as well, you've already touched upon it, but any other story specifically to the love that Babaji had with Sidi Guru Granth Sahib Ji?
Hanji, so there's another beautiful story, is that when Baba Nand Singh Ji is about 6 years old, and as I said before, even though Babaji's family were traditionally carpenters, they also used to have fields where they used to farm as well. And Baba Nand Singh Ji's elder brother, Sardar Bhagat Singh Ji, they used to do that job for the family. So they used to plow the fields, and Baba Nand Singh Ji, being the youngest brother, was sent from home with prashadda for their brother. And when they reach the khet where Sardar Bhagat Singh Ji is plowing, and he sees that his brothers come, and he tells his brother that, let me eat, let me have my lunch, and then you carry on plowing the field. So Baba Nand Singh Ji said Sat Bachan to their brother, and they started to walk forward. So they're walking forward and they're taking the plow. So as you see, like you have the bald, you have the ox, which are pulling along the plow. And Baba Nand Singh Ji is unanu kalo ishara kar diya, like you have to give ishara to them to move forward. They're doing it, but when they come to the end of the field, they just stop. And Bhai Bhagat Singh Ji is sitting quite near under some tree eating their prashadda, and they see that he's just standing there. He's like, obviously, when you go to the end, you've now got to turn and you got to come this way now, you know? The opposite way. And Baba Nand Singh he just stood there. And Bhai Bhagat Singh Ji asked his brother, okay, what are you doing? Like, on Agge jao. You know? The Baba Nand Singh Ji at that time, they said that the house in front of me, so you can imagine like a khet, and then in the distance, there's some houses there. Baba Nand Singh Ji said, in that house is Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj. If I come this way, my back is going to turn to Guru Granth Sahib Ji. So I can't turn my back. So वो कहंदे कि जे इधर चलन ਤਾਂ ਫਿਰ ਮੇਰਾ ਪਿੱਠ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਹੈ ਗੁਰੂ ਗ੍ਰੰਥ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ ਨੂੰ ਜਾਵੇਗਾ. And Bhai Bhagat Singh Ji realized that my brother isn't some normal he probably already realized it, but if you're 6 years old and you're doing bhajan like that, he said that my brother isn't some normal, ਇਹ ਤਾਂ ਕੋਈ ਦੇਵੀ ਸ਼ਕਤੀ ਆ. They've come from Vaheguru. And Baba Nand Singh Ji, you can see that like, this is like an innocent child uttering that. But the rest of his life, Baba Nand Singh Ji would never turn their back from Guru Granth Sahib Ji. And the prem that Baba Nand Singh Ji had for Guru Granth Sahib Ji is unparalleled, I think. And when we think about Satkar of Guru Granth Sahib Ji, what's the first name, first Gursikh that's going to come into your mind is Baba Nand Singh Ji. That was their relationship with Guru Granth Sahib Ji. So that's just a very small story about their prem.
So you kind of mentioned their trade, I guess, in the family. And did Babaji have a specific trade, or did they just go into education? What was that like?
Yeah, so there wasn't any sort of formal education at that time. Later on, Baba Nand Singh did take Vidya, but we'll come to that later. So at this time, Baba Nand Singh Ji's the condition of the family wasn't very good. And the land had to be mortgaged. So that land that they did have when he was young, so this Sakhi we talked about, at some point, in order to make ends meet, they had to mortgage all the land. And just a side note, that land remained mortgaged until 1953. So even after Baba Nand Singh Ji left their Sarir, their family didn't have that land. And it's only later on that Sant Sujaan Singh Ji, who we mentioned before, they paid off the debt and then they gave that land back to Baba Nand Singh Ji's family. So the nephew of Baba Nand Singh Ji, his name is Bhai Har Singh Ji, he then made a sthan on that land where Baba Nand Singh Ji, another Janam sthan. So because all the land had gone, all the farm had gone and everything, so that's when Baba Nand Singh Ji had to go into the other sort of ancestral trade, which was carpentry. By 14 years old, he was accompanying his elder brothers to go and do carpentry work. So at the age of 10 or 11, ਜਿਹੜੇ ਆਲੇ ਦੁਆਲੇ ਵਾਲੇ ਮੁੰਡੇ ਸੀਗੇ, the sort of same age as Baba Ji, they used to call him Baba. They used to say Babbe aage, you know, because of Baba Ji's nature, which is already established. They're very spiritual. They all the time they're just thinking about Guru Nanak Dev Ji, Guru Granth Sahib Ji. All the time, Mool Mantar japi jande hai, Vaheguru japi jande hai. So ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਸੁਭਾਅ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਹੀ ਹੈ ਸਤੋਗਨੀ ਸੁਭਾਅ, meaning that they had a very pure lifestyle. And by 14 then, they've gone with their brothers. And ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਪਿੰਡ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਇੱਕ ਬੀਬੀ ਸੀ, who Baba Nand Singh Ji, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਭੂਆ ਜੀ ਵੀ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਸੀਗੇ. And they were married into this pind called Pind Tindawali. So because she was married there, that contact was made where Baba Nand Singh Ji's elder brother Bhai Santa Singh Ji, they were contacted, okay, there's work to be done here. Okay, ਇੱਥੇ ਘਰ ਬਣਾਉਣੇ ਆ, we need to do certain carpentry works and so on. And I think that Bhai Santa Singh Ji, ਉੱਥੇ ਨਹਿਰ ਦਾ ਮਹਿਕਮਾ, so the sort of to do with the river or wherever they have to construct bridges or so on. And Bhai Santa Singh Ji goes there and he starts the work. And when Baba Nand Singh Ji is about 20 years old, they're then told, "Ke tu vi ithe aaja." And that's when Baba Nand Singh Ji goes there. But when they go there, alongside their work, that work never distracted them from their tapasya or bhakti. And they said when they go to Tindawali, before this they were doing other carpentry work as well with their family. But here it said when they go to this pind, there was this massive kadai. So I don't know if you've ever been to Shaheed Bagh, Gurdwara. When you go to Shaheed Bagh in Anandpur Sahib, you'll see these massive kadaiya, which like a person can climb into it basically. So that's what they put like all the shardai in there when they serve it on Hola Mahalla. So there was this massive kadai, right, which you could sit inside basically. And because that's hidden and no one can see what you're doing in there, Baba Nand Singh used to go into there, fill it with pani and sit in there and they're just going to bhakti, you know. So they used to do that, but that didn't used to affect their work.
Is there a reason for the pani, by the way? Sorry.
I think just to keep the sarir cool when it's a lot of heat, you know, because obviously that's metal, it's going to heat up.
Yeah.
So it's put pani in, and it's just a way for them to hide from everyone else. So ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਰਨਾ ਤੇ ਫਿਰ ਨਾਲ ਨਾਲ ਆਪਣਾ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਨਾ, ਤੇ it said ਕਿ ਫਿਰ ਉਹ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਹੈ ਕਿ Sherpur, again to that area where they were born. And then they used to do bricklaying, carpentry, and there's examples. I was reading a book. There's examples of doors that Baba Nand Singh Ji's made. I saw a photo of it as well. Maybe you can add it. Where Baba Nand Singh Ji made the door themselves. Beautiful, really intricate work on it. So they used to do all that work. But before they would do any work, they would first go and do Darshan of Guru Granth Sahib Ji. They feared it. There's a saying, "Hath kar te chit kartar vich." That's hath kar karda. Kar means your work. Your hands are doing the work. But chit is in kartar. Haath pao sab kaam kar, cheet niranjan nar. So your hands, your feet are going towards your place of work. Your hands are doing the work. But your chit, your mind is always in Vaheguru. That's the way that a grishti person does bhakti. So while Baba Nand Singh Ji is doing the saw, they're using their tools, their lips are always moving. They're always doing Mool Mantar, always doing Gur Mantar. And there's a beautiful little story that the Sangat of Baba Nand Singh Ji affected all the other workers. And because Baba Nand Singh Ji themselves had that Bhagti, had that Seva Simran they were already doing, ਜਿਹੜੇ ਨਾਲ ਦੇ ਸੀਗੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਵੀ Seva Simran ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਉਹ ਵੀ ਪ੍ਰੇਰਿਤ ਹੋ ਗਏ. Right? So the people around them, they were inspired as well. And what happened is that when Baba Nand Singh Ji, the sort of group of labourers, you could say, is about 20 to 25 people. And Suraj Charan to Pella, they would go to the mandi to do their work. and then they would all come together to go back to the pind. And when they used to come back from their work, imagine us when we're going back after something, right? ਆਪਾਂ ਕੋਈ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ. We'll probably talk about what happened in the day. ਫਲਾਣੇ ਨੇ ਇਹ ਕਿਹਾ, that person said this to me, or this happened. We'll be doing gossiping, all these sort of things. Baba Nand Singh Ji, they used to take tolki and shane with them to work. And on the way back, jinne vi Singh sige, that 20 to 25 group, coming back to their pind, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕੀਰਤਨ ਕਰਨਾ. So Baba Nand Singh Ji ne modi banna at the front of the line. They would sing the shabads and the Gursikhs in that style of tolki shana wala kirtan, using the tolki and the shane. They would do tarna kirtan. And then jad meel ka reh janda si, about 1 mile from the pind, fir Rera Sahib shuru kar lena. While they're walking, Rera Sahib da part karna. So you can see the kind of atmosphere that was creating around Baba Nand Singh Ji, that even jede utthe de ਲੋਕ ਸੀਗੇ ਨਾ, they used to say ਕਿ ਇਹ ਖਾਲਸੇ ਆ ਗਏ, ਉਸੇ ਕਸ਼ਹਿਰੇ ਵਾਲੇ ਆ ਗਏ, ਬਿਕੋਜ਼ ਉਹ ਰਹਿਤ ਬੈਤ ਵਿੱਚ ਉਹ ਪੱਕੇ ਸੀਗੇ, ਸਿੰਘ ਸੀਗੇ, ਸਾਬਤ ਸੂਰਤ ਸੀਗੇ, ਐਂਡ ਸੀਇੰਗ that ਲੋਕ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਦਰਸ਼ਨ ਕਰਕੇ they would say ਤਾਂ ਖਾਲਸਿਆਂ ਦਾ ਜਥਾ ਆ. So this was the sort of time when they were working, you could say. I'll just carry on from here because there's a few more things. So Sherpur, which is the birthplace of Baba Nand Singh Ji, from Sherpur about 4 miles there's Sidhwa Khurd. So it's called Sidhwa Khas now. And utthe there was Hakim Jawar Singh. And what happens is that Baba Nand Singh Ji goes and works there, because this Hakim Jawar Singh, they had a lot of work to do. So when Baba Nand Singh Ji is called here, this Hakim Jawar Singh, he had this garden in which he had made a kutiya. Kutiya means like this small hut. And in the hut, which is still there today, any passing Sant, Mahapurush, Gursikh, Nirmale, Mahapurush, Udasi, all the different sampradas, that was made especially by him, that if there's any Gursikh passing, they can stay here. And that Hakim Jawar Singh, he had this thirst for Sad Sangat. So he had one, if the Gursikhs come and stay here, they're going to give bachans to me, isn't it? I can sit there, I can talk to them about Maharaj, I can ask them arts of Gurbani. So that place was known as like a place where Gursikhs would come and stay. And when Baba Nand Singh Ji started to work near Hakim's house, which was Sardar Narayan Singh's house, then automatically, because they're in that area, they started going to that house as well. And utthe fir kai Mahapurshan de darshan ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਹੋਏ. And Baba Nand Singh Ji just sit there and they should listen to all these Gursikhs doing Varta about Gurbani, talking about Gurbani and so on. And it said at that time, Baba Nand Singh Ji's abhyas had increased so much. And as I said, they never let that affect their work. They wouldn't say, I've done so much abhyas, main aaj kaam nahi karna. They would do both. Because they were doing so much abhyas, and then they were doing so much work all day, that had effect on their body. And ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਸਰੀਰ ਤੇ ਕਮਜ਼ੋਰੀ ਬਹੁਤ ਆ ਗਈ. And also that Hakim, because obviously he's a Hakim means someone who's a doctor, you could say. They practice Ayurveda. And they saw that what Baba Nand Singh Ji is doing, he realized it. Because Baba Nand Singh used to keep it gupt. Like I said, they would hide and do their bhakti. But he realized his body's become really weak. Then he said these bachans, he said, Janta abhyas karo ja kirt karo. And you got to choose your path now, because the path you're going is that it's better you choose one. Otherwise, your you can't handle that much. And then at the same time, when they were working at that Harnam Singh's house, one day that bachan has such an effect on Baba Nand Singh Ji that they just left all their tools there. And they said to the Bibi whose house it was, they said, Changa Bebe, jonde de mele han bakke fir se. Said, Pata nahi if we're going to meet again, I'm going. So that bachan just had such an effect on them. They left everything and just went back. And this is about 1903.
If I remember correctly, this is quite similar to Baba Har Singh Ji. Didn't Baba Har Singh Ji then stop wherever they were doing it? Because next, I'm guessing Baba Nand Singh Ji went to Hazur Sahib, right? So is that quite similar?
So you'll see with a lot of Mahapurush, Hazur Sahib is a place where you could say that's where the stamp of Guru Gobind Singh Ji, that's where it's placed. And even today, a lot of Gursikhs, they want to go to Hazur Sahib to do Bhagti. Now, because Maharaj utthe pratak vartade, there's going to be a Sakhi later on which is going to show that. So what happens is that Baba Nand Singh Ji, they come back to their pind, Sherpur, and there was only one place where Guru Granth Sahib Ji was, as I said before. And there used to be a sadhu who used to live there. So it wasn't like an official Gurdwara Sahib, but it was a sthan. And everyone in the pit used to go there to do darshan of Guru Granth Sahib Ji. And that sadhu, even though the sadhu wasn't like, I think he was an Udasi sadhu. So when we look at someone like that, nowadays we have this perception that maybe they don't have that prem of Guru Granth Sahib Ji. But the prem that he had was amazing. That for him, Guru Granth Sahib Ji is everything. So Baba Nand Singh Ji goes to him, and that sadhu then, when Baba Nand Singh Ji is asking many questions about spirituality to that sadhu, the sadhu said these bachans that, Bhai Gurmukha, tu bada siyana hai. Maitho vi agge diyan gallan karda. That, you know, the questions you're asking, like some of them, I don't have the answer to these questions. And that sadhu said, Atmik Shakti Hazur Sahib vich nivas kardi hai. Ose thaan te seva phal diya. And as we know, like we're told by Guru Sikhs, when you go to Hazur Sahib, khas when you're around Takht Sahib, we shouldn't be doing loads of galna or things like that. Because appa is shardatar there, we have this faith that the bani or the bhakti we do at Hazur Sahib is going to get multiplied loads, you know? Because that's where Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj themselves in Satjog, that's their tapastan when they were Dushta Daman, you know? So ਉੱਥੇ ਜੋ ਵੀ ਆਪਾਂ ਬਾਣੀ ਪੜ੍ਹਦੇ ਆ, and because ਪੂਰੀ ਸ਼ਰਧਾ ਆ ਕਿ ਉੱਥੇ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਪ੍ਰਤੱਖ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ, ਉੱਥੇ ਕਲਾ ਵਰਤਣੀ ਆ. Kala means like that power of Guru Gobind Singh Ji is pratakh there. We don't need to explain it. If you've been to Hazur Sahib, you'll feel it. As soon as you enter and you hear the nagare, you hear everything, and you have darshan of the Angita Sahib, you know, Maharaj itthe hai gaya. And there's no doubt about it. ਤੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਤੇ ਕਿਰਪਾ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਦਰਸ਼ਨ ਵੀ ਕਰ ਲੈਂਦੇ ਆ. They have pratakh darshan of Guru Gobind Singh Ji there. So I think every jivan of a Mahapurush, you'll find Hazur Sahib there. Every jivan. Every Mahapurush has been there and got that stamp. They've been approved by Guru Gobind Singh, then they start doing prachar. You know? So that sadhu said the same thing, that Atmik Shakti right now, if you want that Shakti, go to Hazur Sahib. And utte, whatever seva you do, utte falugi, and you'll get all your answers there. And if you have the desire to meet Vaheguru, then go to Hazur Sahib. And he goes, other than that, I can't tell you anything else. I've got no answers for you. Go to Hazur Sahib, you'll get your answers. And as soon as Baba Ji heard that, from that day, pakka man ch bana liya, main Hazur Sahib jana hi jana hai. But it wasn't easy. You can't just go, like, either you walk there, or you have to get some money to get the train there. So by that time, the British had made this the railway systems in Punjab to Hazur Sahib and all them sort of areas around India. But from Punjab to Hazur Sahib, that's quite a distance. And Baba Nand Singh Ji had no money.
So then how does Babaji actually leave then? How do they go from where they are right now doing that work or stopping the work now towards Hazur Sahib? Because you said that they're from a poor family as well. So if they were to travel, then where would they get their money from?
So Babaji at this time, they were still like, because they've had these bachans from that Mahapurush, now them bachans have cemented that I'm going to go to Hazur Sahib. That's pakka now. But that the means to go Hazur Sahib haven't come about yet. And they're still in their family. So you can imagine, like, you live in a family, how do you just say I'm going now? You know? But something happens to prompt them to go. So what happens is around that same time that Babaji makes their mind up that main hun Hazur Sahib jana hai, their brother passes away, who they had that very close connection to, Bhai Har Singh Ji, who inspired them in the beginning. And that had a big effect on them. But then also what happened is that Bhai Har Singh Ji was married, but he had no children. So as it is in families in Punjab at that time, if someone was married very young and they pass away, then they would want that daughter or daughter-in-law isn't left a widow, and they would marry her to one of the other brothers who wasn't married yet, because they haven't had any children yet. So Bhai Har Singh Ji passed away. His wife, he'd only got married to her very recently, and they hadn't had any children. And then Bhai Jagat Singh, he was already engaged to another, he was engaged basically. So then the family thought that, Appa idda karde ya, that why don't we do Baba Nand Singh Ji's rishta, you know, with Bhai Har Singh Ji's wife, you know, because Bhai Har Singh Ji passed away now. As soon as Baba Nand Singh Ji heard this, that was the final straw. And then at night, hanere de vichi, without telling anyone, they just left the house. They thought, I can't do this, because ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ look, Grishta Taram ਇਹ ਪ੍ਰਧਾਨ ਹੈ ਨਾ ਸਿੱਖੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ, ਹੈ ਨਾ. But then in Gurbani it's also written that both paths are accepted. Bhagt Kabir ji says that Kabir jo griho karah ta dharm kar nahi ta kar bairag. If you're going to live that grishti dharm, then be pakka in your grish dharm. You got to live the life according to that righteous way of dharm. If not, then bairag karo. Have true bairag then. Leave everything. But bairagi bandhan kare taako bado paag. If you become a bairagi, because this is what happens, people take on ke appa bihangam ya, we've left the world, but their mind is still entangled in all the bandhans. They still want maya. And we see that people who go into celibate lifestyle, but their mind is still in the vikars. It's very hard. So if you're going to be a bihangam, then be a proper bihangam. Pura bairag karo. But Bhagt Kabir Sahib ji ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਨੇ ਬੈਰਾਗੀ ਬੰਧਨ ਕਰੇ ਤਾਕੋ ਵੱਡੋ ਪਾਗ. There's no greater apag, misfortune, than to become a bairagi, to become someone who's left all maya and left, they've retired from the world, but you're still bandhan vich. Your mind is still in the bandhans. So Baba Nand Singh Ji was going to dedicate their life to Guru Nanak Dev Ji and nothing else. So in that sense, they knew that this household lifestyle isn't for me. So Baba Nand Singh Ji, una vaste ਇਹ ਗੱਲ ਸੀ ਕਿ if I now go into this bandhan, then my life's mission is not going to be able to go in the way I want it to. So that's why ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਸੋਚਿਆ ਕਿ this is the final straw for me. And they just left their house. And so they left their house and then they go towards Sri Amritsar Sahib. ਉਹ ਖਿੱਚ naturally ਆ ਗਈ because they couldn't go straight to Hazur Sahib. So then they go to Harmandir Sahib. When they go there, ਉਸ ਸਮੇਂ ਕੋਈ ਖਾਸ, they didn't really know anyone there. ਤੇ ਕੋਈ ਕਹਿ ਲਓ contact ਜਾਂ ਇੱਦਾਂ ਕੁਛ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀਗਾ. They were just there on their own. And then, even then, to survive, they would do some sort of work, dihadi, like use whatever skills they had, just to get enough money so they could have prashada. ਇੰਨਾ ਪੈਸਾ ਉਹ ਇਕੱਠਾ ਕਰ ਲੈਂਦੇ ਸੀ. ਬਾਕੀ ਦਾ ਜਿੰਨਾ ਸਮਾਂ ਸੀਗਾ, they would sit around the parikrama of Sri Darbar Sahib and do Path and do Gurbani, Jap, and then do Seva. So that's the first place they went to, Sri Harmandir Sahib.
And I think, again, just very similar to the Sant Sujaan Singh Ji podcast that we did first. I know Vadima put to spend a lot of time there as well. They Bhagti on the roof top as well. So then, and there's examples of them having darshan at whether that instance, I can't remember, different ones. What about Baba Nand Singh Ji? Did they have darshan of any of the Guru Sahibans in that you read about?
So this is the first darshan they have, Pratak darshan. And there's a bit of, when I was researching this, I couldn't really place it on the timeline as such. But I think it's around this period. Because it makes sense, because the place they had the darshan is around Amritsar Sahib. And it's said this is before they went to Hazur Sahib. So it's around that time. So if I'm wrong with this, then I ask forgiveness from the Sangat, because in the Jeevanis it's not clearly put when this happens. So this, I'm putting it around this time, around this period. It's one thing is clear: this was in their youth. So it's before they went to the Mahapurush who Sangat they did, Baba Bhai Har Singh Ji. It's before that. Inni gal aapa keh sakde hain. So when they're in this avastha, Javani di avastha de vich. And Amritsar Sahib, there was another Mahapurush, Baba Jawan Singh Ji. And we've mentioned Baba Jawan Singh Ji in another podcast because of the fact that their tapasthan is in the Amritsar airport. So when you go to Sri Guru Ramdas Ji airport, before it was called Sri Guru Ramdas Ji airport, it's called Raja Sansi airport. That's because the actual area is Raja Sansi. And I'm sure a lot of the listeners will know there's a Gurdwara Sahib just near the runway. So ਤੁਸੀਂ ਵੀ ਦਰਸ਼ਨ ਕੀਤੇ ਹੋਣੇ ਆ, when you not seen it?
We went to, but we didn't get.
No, but you must have seen it in the plane though.
I didn't.
So when you land, you got to look for it. You'll see the Gurdwara Sahib. It's like randomly in the middle of the runway, and you'll see the Nishan Sahib and everything.
Anji, I just remember saying to me that every plane has parikrama. I was like,
I think they have to do parikrama because where the Gurdwara Sahib is, it's in the middle, and they have to go around it anyway.
Okay, so that's right. He made it out like you fly around in a circle.
No, I think when they go around
too much.
They have to do parikrama, the way the runway is.
That's nice. Blessings for the fly off.
And then that Gurdwara Sahib, certain times it's open. So I think on a Sunday or something, they'll somehow shut part of the runway so the Sangat can go and have darshan.
Nice.
So it's prakar that Gurdwara Sahib is still there. So the Gurdwara Sahib is called Gurdwara Santsar Sahib, Raja Sansi. So Sant Baba Jawan Singh Ji, they were born in 1880, and this Mahapurush ਸੁਭਾਵਿਕ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਬਾਬਾ ਨੰਦ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੀ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਮੇਲ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ and because Baba Jawan Singh Ji themselves were on the spiritual path, and when you have two Gursikhs on a spiritual path, they will very easily connect, you know. And there's a dohra, asa ist upashna khan pan pehran khat lakhan jame mil hai taako meet pashan, that what are the characteristics of a friend, of a true friend? When these 6 things meet, they become lifetime friends. No? Asa ek hove, ਭਾਵ ਕਿ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਰਸਤਾ ਇੱਕ ਹੋਵੇ. They want the same thing in life. Isht, their guru is one. Upashna, the way that they worship their guru is one. Or the tariqa, the way they live their life is one. Khan pan pehran, ਉਹ ਖਾਂਦੇ ਤੇ ਪੀਂਦੇ ਵੀ ਉਹੀ ਸੇਮ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਆ, ਪਹਿਰਦੇ ਵੀ ਉਹੀ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ. ਭਾਵ ਕਿ ਹੈਗਾ ਕਿ example is given that if you on one side you have someone who's a sharabi, and on the other side you have someone who ਸਿਰਫ ਤੇ ਸਿਰਫ ਜਲ ਛਕਦਾ ਆ, ਹੈ ਨਾ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਕਿਵੇਂ ਮੇਲ ਹੁੰਦਾ, ਹੈ ਨਾ. 2 ਸ਼ਰਾਬੀ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਉਹ ਇਕੱਠੇ ਹੋ ਕੇ ਫਿਰ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਮੇਲ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ, ਹੈ ਨਾ. ਕਿ ਉਹ ਜਿਹੜੇ opposite, usually we say opposites attract, right? But in the sense of sangat, of like the company you want to keep, usually when someone's meeting the same criteria as you, you go forward in your path. And what happens sometimes, if someone isn't doing that, they can pull you back. If you get into the wrong sangat, that will be your factors that's pulling you back, isn't it? But if you're both on the same, ਦੇਖ ਲਓ ਗੁਰਸਿੱਖ ਹੈਗੇ, ਦੋਹਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਬਾਣੀ ਪੜ੍ਹਨ ਦੀ ਇੱਛਾ ਆ, ਉਹ ਇਕੱਠੇ ਹੋ ਕੇ ਬਾਣੀ ਪੜ੍ਹੋਗੇ, ਹੈ ਨਾ. ਤੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਸੰਥਿਆ ਵਿੱਚ ਵੀ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਆ ਨਾ, if ਵਿਦਿਆਰਥੀਜ਼ ਉਹ ਇਕੱਠੇ ਹੋ ਕੇ, it comes to Sar Kutavi that your vidyarthis also become a factor, your gurupais, or the people you're doing santhya with. Imagine you're living in one taksal together. If your gurupai themselves is putting minute into their santhya, you're going to put minute. Because doing their sangat, you're going to say, I need to do minute as well. So ਉਹੀ ਗੱਲ ਹੈਗੀ ਆ ਕਿ ਜਦੋਂ ਆਸਾ ਇਸ਼ਟ ਉਪਾਸ਼ਨਾ ਖਾਨ ਪਾਨ ਪੈਰਨ ਇਕੱਠੇ ਹੋ ਗਏ ਤਾਂ ਅਸਲ ਮਿੱਤਰ ਹੋ ਗਏ ਨਾ. So very naturally, Baba Nand Singh Ji and Baba Jawan Singh Ji, who are both starting on their spiritual journey, they very easily became friends. The Raja Sansi is near Amritsar Sahib, and these two Mahapurush, they met at Gurdwara Sahib called Gurdwara Saragadi Sahib. So there's 2 Gurdwara Saragadi Sahibs. One is when you go to Darbar Sahib, near where they've made this Saragadi Nivas now. Yeah. Right next to it.
The big car park.
Right next to it, you have the actual Gurdwara Sahib, which was made. That was made in memory of the Singhs who got Shaheed in Saragadi. But then there's a Saragadi Shawnee as well. So that's in Firozpur. Okay. So that Shawnee is actually where which we call like the sort of base of that regiment. That's where it used to be. Othevi, they've made a Gurdwara Sahib in memory of them Singhs. So Baba Nand Singh Ji, Baba Jawan Singh Ji, they met there. And outside that Gurdwara Sahib at that time, there was a lot of jungle, Ekansi. A lot of people didn't used to go there. And when Baba Ji goes there with Baba Jawan Singh Ji, they start to do Sangat together, they start to do Bhagti together. And Utthe Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji da Prakash siga, and every single day, Swer Sham, they would do Prakash of Guru Granth Sahib Ji, Sham nu Sukhasan of Guru Granth Sahib Ji. And as was Baba Nand Singh Ji Sharda, that Guru Granth Sahib Ji is the form of Guru Nanak Dev Ji. Then jira langar prashada vi hunda si, first they would offer it to Guru Granth Sahib Ji, then aap o shak de sige. So as is the Maryada, if you're going to make langar, first we do ardas, we do pork to the langar, then we give it to the Sangat. So they used to do that, and one day, Sant Sujaan Singh Ji, he asked this question to Baba Nand Singh Ji. He said that, look, we bring the prasada every single day. We put it in front of Guru Granth Sahib, we do ardas, we have the faith that Maharaj has blessed this langar. But then, for Bhagat Tanna Ji, Vaheguru themselves became Pratak and they ate the food. Now, why does Guru Nanak Sahib Ji become Pratak and eat our food? You know? So why can't we have darshan of Guru Nanak Dev Ji? How Bhagat Tanna Ji had darshan of Vaheguru? So also Baba Nand Singh Ji laughed and they said, look, Jira Santokh Rikhi si, we hear this, the Sakhi of Santokh Sahib. How many yug he had to wait? So from Treta Yug to Kal Yug, he had to do so many Hazara Saal da tap to have darshan of Guru Arjan Dev Ji. ਤੇ ਤੂੰ ਚਾਹੁੰਦਾ ਕਿ ਇਦਾਂ ਹੀ ਗੁਰੂ ਨਾਨਕ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਤੈਨੂੰ ਦਰਸ਼ਨ ਦੇ ਦੇਵੇਗਾ ਕੋਈ ਤਪੱਸਿਆ ਵੀ ਕਰਨੀ ਪੈਣੀ ਨਾ you got to do some penance you got to actually do some bhakti and Maharaj is happy they'll give you darshan so ਕਈ ਜਨਮਾਂ ਦੇ ਪੁੰਨ ਇਕੱਤਰ ਹੋਣ ਫਿਰ ਦਰਸ਼ਨ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਨਾ ਤੇ ਸੰਤ ਜਵਾਨ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੀ said ਕਿ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਆਪਾਂ ਘਰ ਵੀ ਛੱਡਿਆ ਨਾ we left our house to do bhakti ਨਾ all the ਦੁਨਿਆਵੀ ਸੁੱਖ ਪਦਾਰਥ that we had we left that as well ਜੇ ਫਿਰ ਵੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਦਰਸ਼ਨ ਹੋਣੇ ਤਾਂ ਫਿਰ it's better to die what's the point of living if you're not going to have the darshan of Guru Nanak Dev Ji so ਫਿਰ ਬਾਬਾ ਨੰਦ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੀ ਨੇ ਵਿਚਾਰ ਕੀਤਾ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਚਲੋ ਆਪਾਂ ਪ੍ਰਣ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ let's make this promise then until Guru Nanak Sahib Ji doesn't become Pratak doesn't give us darshan and eat the prashada ਆਪਾਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਛਕਣਾ we're not going to eat so until Guru Sahib Ji doesn't give us darshan and they don't eat the prashada themselves we're not going to eat ourselves so ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਫਿਰ ਅਰਦਾਸ ਕੀਤੀ ਬਾਬਾ ਨੰਦ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੀ ਨੇ ਆਪ ਅਰਦਾਸ ਕੀਤੀ ਕਿ ਸੱਚੇ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹ ਜਿੰਨੀ ਚਿਰ ਆਪ ਪ੍ਰਸ਼ਾਦ ਨਹੀਂ ਛਕਦੇ ਦਾਸਾਂ ਨੇ ਵੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਛਕਣਾ ਕਿ ਆਪ ਜੀ ਕਿਰਪਾ ਕਰਕੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਪਵਿੱਤਰ ਹੱਥਾਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਆਪ ਜੀ ਪ੍ਰਸ਼ਾਦ ਨੂੰ ਛਕੋ ਸੋ ਐਵਰੀ ਸਿੰਗਲ ਡੇ ਦੇ ਵੁੱਡ ਮੇਕ ਦ ਲੰਗਰ ਗੁਰੂ ਗ੍ਰੰਥ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਜੀ ਦੇ ਸਾਹਮਣੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਰੱਖਣਾ ਅਰਦਾਸਾ ਸੋਧਣਾ ਅਤੇ ਫਿਰ ਬੈਠ ਜਾਣਾ ਹਾਂ ਇੱਕ ਦਿਨ ਬੀਤ ਗਿਆ ਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਨੇ ਦਰਸ਼ਨ ਨਹੀਂ ਦਿੱਤੇ ਸੋ ਫਿਰ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਪ੍ਰਸ਼ਾਦਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਛਕਣਾ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਉਹ ਪ੍ਰਸ਼ਾਦਾ 'ਚ ਅਸੀਂ ਕੋਈ ਹੋਰ ਗੁਰਸਿੱਖਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਛਕਾ ਦੇਣਾ ਪਰ ਆਪ ਨਹੀਂ ਛਕਣਾ ਦੂਸਰਾ ਦਿਨ second day passes every single day they will make fresh prashada put in front of Guru Granth Sahib Ji do ardas and wait then the second day passes then the third day comes and the third day if you ever been to Nanaksar Sahib before the ardas they would sing a tarna have you heard it mere baba ji deho darshan akhiyan tarsan ji deho darshan so if you ever go on Purnamashi or Masya when they do the Pog Akhand Path Sahib Pog afterwards they sing this tarna and just to explain what happens is that because later on when Babaji goes to Hazur Sahib eventually they see the maryada of Hazur Sahib and a lot of people say that ਜਿਹੜੀ Nanaksar ਦੀ maryada ਹੈਗੀ ਆ ਇਹ Baba Nand Singh Ji's made up their own maryada when you look at it they've just taken the maryada of Hazur Sahib and they're following that because when you go to Hazur Sahib when they take the Kara Prashadi Deg inside the Singhasan Sahib, the Sachkhand, where only Baba Kulwant Singh Ji can go, you'll see that they do a parda. So they take down this curtain and then they do ardas. So in the same way, Baba Nand Singh will keep that maryada. Because in the Puratan Granths is written ਕਿ ਜਦੋਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਪ੍ਰਸ਼ਾਦਾ ਪ੍ਰਾਤਨ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਲੋਕ ਸੀ ਜਦੋਂ ਪ੍ਰਸ਼ਾਦਾ ਛਕਦੇ ਸੀ ਉਹ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਸਾਹਮਣੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀ ਛਕਦੇ ਉਹ ਪਰਦੇ ਦੇ ਪਿੱਛੇ ਛਕਦੇ ਸੀ ਭੋਜਨ ਪਰਦਾ ਅਰ ਨਾਰੀ ਭੋਜਨ ਭਜਨ ਅਰ ਨਾਰੀ ਤੀਨੋਂ ਪਰਦੇ ਕੇ ਅਧਿਕਾਰੀ ਚਾਣਕਿਆ ਵਿੱਚ ਲਿਖਿਆ ਆ ਸੋ these things you do behind closed doors ਨਾ ਪ੍ਰਸ਼ਾਦਾ ਆਪਾਂ ਸਤਿਕਾਰ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਬੈਠ ਕੇ ਛਕਦੇ ਸੀ ਇਹ this is ਸਤਿਕਾਰ of the ਅੰਨ as well ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਅੰਨ ਆ ਪਵਿੱਤਰ ਆ is giving us life so ਅੱਜ ਕੱਲ੍ਹ we see we eat standing up we don't have any ਸਤਿਕਾਰ for our food ਪ੍ਰਾਤਨ ਗੁਰਸਿੱਖ they would sit down wash their hands do ardas first then eat ਸਤਿਕਾਰ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਛਕਦੇ ਸੀਗੇ so in the same way ਗੁਰਸਿੱਖ ਇਹ ਸ਼ਰਧਾ ਧਾਰਦੇ ਸੀ ਜਦੋਂ ਗੁਰੂ ਗੋਬਿੰਦ ਸਿੰਘ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਲੰਗਰ ਛਕਦੇ ਸੀਗੇ ਉਹ ਵੀ ਸਾਰੇ ਦੇ ਸਾਹਮਣੇ ਇੱਦਾਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀ ਛਕਦੇ ਉਹ ਆਪਣੇ ਜਗ੍ਹਾ ਵਿੱਚ ਛਕਦੇ ਸੀਗੇ so in the same way Hazur Sahib to this day they put the parda so Baba Nand Singh Ji only applied that and then at Nanaksar when the Akhand Path Sahib Pog is done then they do Aarti after Aarti when they do Ardas they put down that curtain because the langar and the Kara Prashad is there for Pog so also because now we're not having the Pratak Darshan of Guru Granth Sahib Ji ਜਿਹੜੇ before the Ardas the sings they read this tarna mere Baba Ji deho darshan akhiyan tarsan ji that my eyes they're yearning for your darshan please give me your darshan again So that tarna, which is still sung in Nanaksar to this day, comes from this point. When Baba Nand Singh Ji, on the third day without any food, they're sitting in front of Guru Granth Sahib Ji and they're singing this tarna. Okay, oh Guru Nanak Sahib Ji, please give me darshan. My eyes are yearning for your darshan. So now the third day is also passed. Chautha din, again, prashada tiyar kita. Maharaj de samne prashada rakh ke ardas kita. Then Baba Nand Singh Ji started to sing, Dar made thade darbar, तुझ बिन सुरत करे को मेरी दर्शन दीजे खोल के वार. Ida darshana de jere shabad ya. But then the fourth day, again, Maharaj didn't give darshan. Fifth day has passed now. Imagine 5 days have passed, you haven't eaten anything. Na jal shakya, na koi prashada shakya. And ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਸਰੀਰ ਦੀ ਅਵਸਥਾ ਵੀ ਹੈਗੀ ਆ became very weak. ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਵੀ ਉਹ ਘੱਟ ਛਕਦੇ ਸੀ. And I imagine ਕੁਛ ਵੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਛਕਿਆ ਕਈ ਦਿਨਾਂ ਵਾਸਤੇ. ਤੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਬਾਬਾ ਜਵੰਤ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੀ, ਬਾਬਾ ਨੰਦ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਸਰੀਰ ਦੀ ਅਵਸਥਾ ਨਾ, ਉਹ ਕਿਸ ਪ੍ਰਕਾਰ ਹੋ ਗਈ. There's a poem in Farsi which gives the 9 signs of an ashik. Ashik means a lover. So obviously you have the worldly lovers like Heer, Ranja and so on, right? But then you have the ashiks of Vaheguru. ਜਿਹੜੇ ਆਸ਼ਿਕ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਦੇ ਆਸ਼ਿਕ ਹੈ ਨਾ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਵੀ ਇਹ ਲੱਭ ਜਾਂਦੇ. Obviously ਜਿਹੜੇ worldly lovers, yeah, you'll find these 9 signs in them easily, right? But ਜਿਹੜੇ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਦੇ ਪ੍ਰੇਮੀ ਆ ਨਾ, who want the darshan of ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਵੀ ਲੱਭ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਆ. So the poem is, ਆਸ਼ਿਕਾਂ ਰਾ ਨੌ ਨਿਸ਼ਾਨੇ ਦਰ ਨਜ਼ਰ, ਆਹਾ ਸ਼ਰਦੋ ਰੰਗ ਜ਼ਰਦੋ ਚਸ਼ਮ ਤਰ, ਕਮ ਗੁਫਤਨੀ ख्वाब सहराम इंतज़ारी बेकरारी बेसबर. ਇਹ 9 ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਆਸ਼ਿਕਾਂ ਰਾ 9 ਨਿਸ਼ਾਨੇ ਦਰ ਨਜ਼ਰ. You'll find ਆਸ਼ਿਕਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ, the lovers, you'll find these 9 ਨਿਸ਼ਾਨੀਆਂ in them. ਪਹਿਲਾ ਕੀ ਆ, ਆਹਾ ਸ਼ਰਦੋ. ਆਹਾ ਸ਼ਰਦੋ ਆ ਕਿ ਪਿਆਰੇ ਦੀ ਯਾਦ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਠੰਡੇ ਹੋ ਕੇ ਲੈਂਦੇ ਰਹਿਣਾ. Like just sighing. You know, you haven't met the person you want to meet. Like your lover is far away. And you're just thinking about them and you're sighing that when will we meet again? ਆਹਾ ਸ਼ਰਦੋ. ਫਿਰ ਰੰਗ ਜ਼ਰਦੋ, ਉਦਾਸੀ ਵਿੱਚ ਖੂਨ ਸੁੱਕ ਜਾਣਾ, ਚਿਹਰੇ ਦੀ ਪੀਲਤਨ ਆ ਜਾਣੀ. So they go into that state of virag that they want darshan of their beloved, that their skin turns pale. Their only itcha is ਕਿ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਦਰਸ਼ਨ ਹੋ ਜਾਣ. So in the spiritual sense, you'll find these in them Gursikhs who want to have darshan of Maharaj. At all times, they're just sighing ਕਿ Maharaj, when are you going to give me darshan? ਕਿੰਨੇ ਜਨਮ ਬੀਤ ਗਏ, ਹੁਣ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਦਰਸ਼ਨ ਤਾਂ ਦਿਓ. And then ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਮੁੱਖ ਦਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਚਿਹਰੇ ਤੋਂ ਪਤਾ ਲੱਗ ਜਾਂਦਾ, their mind is somewhere else. They're just thinking about Maharaj, when are you going to give me darshan? Then ਚਸ਼ਮ ਤਰ, ਹਰ ਵੇਲੇ ਅੱਖਾਂ ਪਿਆਰੇ ਦੇ ਯਾਦ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਰੋਂਦੀਆਂ ਹਨ. In their eyes, you'll see the tears that they want to be united with Vaheguru. And then kam kuftani and kam guftani. Those lovers of Vaheguru who want the darshan, you'll see their ਹੁਣ ਜਿਵੇਂ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਤਾਂ ਕੋਈ ਇੱਛਾ ਨਹੀਂ, ਆਪਾਂ ਸਾਡਾ ਮਨ ਕਿੱਥੇ ਆ ਛਕਣ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ, ਸਾਡਾ ਮਨ ਕਿੱਥੇ ਆ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਕਰਨ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ. And then you'll see that the people who don't care about this, they're just going to be talking all the time, eating all the time, enjoying, right? But someone who actually has that itcha to have darshan of Vaheguru, because their only desire is Vaheguru's darshan, they're not going to have the desire to just be eating all the time or talking. So then you get kam kuftani. Kam kuftani is that their mind has forgotten about eating and drinking now. They don't care about eating or drinking because their mind just wants Vaheguru. And then kam guftani, ਗੱਲਾਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰਦੇ. You'll see ਜਿਹੜੇ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਦੇ ਆਸ਼ਿਕ ਆ ਨਾ, ਉਹ ਬਹੁਤਾ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰਦੇ ਨਾ. ਸਾਡੇ ਵਰਗੇ ਉਹ ਬਸ ਬੋਲਦੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਰਹਿੰਦੇ. They're very quiet. At all times they're just doing simran ਕਿ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਦਰਸ਼ਨ ਦਿਓ. So intizari bekarari besabr. In that intizar, in that waiting for Vaheguru, they're besabr, they're not patient. They want it now. ਨੇ ਕੋਈ ਨਾ ਬਹੁਤ ਸਮਾਂ ਹੈਗਾ, ਆਪਾਂ ਬਾਅਦ 'ਚ ਭਗਤੀ ਕਰ ਲਾਂਗੇ, then we'll get darshan. ਨਹੀਂ, they want it now. Because they want it now, they do ਭਗਤੀ then. So ਇਹ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ 9 ਨਿਸ਼ਾਨੀਆਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਪੱਕੀਆਂ ਸੀ in ਬਾਬਾ ਨੰਦ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੀ, ਬਾਬਾ ਜਵੰਤ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੀ. They don't care about eating. They don't care about drinking. They don't care about talking. They just want Maharaj's darshan. So in this sense, ਭਗਤ ਫਰੀਦ ਜੀ ਦੇ ਸਲੋਕਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਆਉਂਦਾ ਨਾ, ਫਰੀਦਾ ਤਨ ਸੁੱਕਾ ਪਿੰਜਰ ਥੀਆਂ, ਤਲੀਆਂ ਖੂੰਡਾ ਹੈ ਕਾਗ, ਅਜੇ ਸੋ ਰੱਬ ਨਾ ਬਾਹੁੜਿਓ ਦੇਖ ਬੰਦੇ ਕੇ ਭਾਗ. ਸੋ ਇਸ ਦੇ ਸਰੀਰ ਵੀ ਇੱਦਾਂ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ ਨਾ. ਛੇਵਾਂ ਦਿਨ ਆ ਗਿਆ, ਦੁਬਾਰਾ ਦੇ ਬੋਡੀ ਸੋ ਵੀਕ, ਪਰ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਪ੍ਰਸ਼ਾਦਾ ਤਿਆਰ ਕੀਤਾ, ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਦੇ ਸਾਹਮਣੇ ਰੱਖਿਆ. ਤੇ ਬਾਬਾ ਜਵਾਨ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਸਰੀਰ ਇੰਨਾ ਕੁ ਵੀ ਨੋ ਆਲਰੇਡੀ ਬਾਬਾ ਨੰਦ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੀ ਆਲਰੇਡੀ they had this sort of experience in doing a lot of ਭਗਤੀ ਪਰ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਬਾਬਾ ਜਵਾਨ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੀ ਸੀ ਉਹ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਬਾਬਾ ਨੰਦ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੀ ਨੂੰ ਜਾਂ ਗੁਰੂ ਗ੍ਰੰਥ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ ਵੱਲ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਮੈਂ ਚੱਲਿਆ ਹੁਣ my body can't take this anymore ਉਸ ਸਮੇਂ ਬਾਬਾ ਨੰਦ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੀ ਨੇ ਦਿਲਾਸਾ ਦਿੱਤਾ he gave this reassurance to Baba Jawan Singh Ji and he said because Baba Jawan Singh Ji did very beautiful kirtan they were known for the kirtan and he said that oh Bhai Sahib tu vaja fad pick up the vaja and press down just one note and do kirtan and ਉਸ ਸਮੇਂ Baba Jawan Singh Ji ਨੇ 7 ਬਚਨ ਕਿਹਾ they took the vaja and they started to sing this shabad ਕਿ ਬਹੁਤ ਜਨਮ ਵਿਛੜੇ ਥੇ ਮਾਦੋ ਇਹ ਜਨਮ ਤੁਮਾਰੇ ਲੇਖੇ that many lifetimes have passed now this lifetime I want to devote it just to you so as they're doing that Baba Nand Singh Ji and Baba Jawan Singh Ji they're both faint as they're singing because obviously it takes a lot of energy to sing when they're singing with so much energy they've got no energy left in their body they both fainted and when they fainted ਉਸ ਸਮੇਂ ਗੁਰੂ ਨਾਨਕ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਆਪ ਗੁਰੂ ਗ੍ਰੰਥ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ ਵਿੱਚੋਂ ਪ੍ਰਗਟ ਹੋ ਕੇ ਪ੍ਰਤੱਖ ਹੋ ਗਏ they held Baba Nand Singh Ji and Baba Jawan Singh Ji from their baha, from their arms and ਤੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਉਠਾਇਆ ਤੇ ਜਦੋਂ ਬਾਬਾ ਨੰਦ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੀ ਤੇ ਬਾਬਾ ਜਵਾਨ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੀ ਨੇ ਅੱਖਾਂ ਖੋਲੀਆਂ what did they see that ਪਿਆਰਾ that beloved who they wanted darshan so badly now they're right in front of them ਤੇ ਸਾਖਿਆਤ ਮੂਰਤ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਪ੍ਰਤੱਖ ਰੂਪ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ in their bodily form Guru Nanak Sahib Ji gave darshan and ਉਸੇ ਸਮੇਂ ਜਾਨ ਆ ਗਈ ਵਿੱਚ and you're not going to feel tired after having darshan of Guru Nanak Sahib Ji usi waqt they fell at Guru Nanak Sahib Ji charan matha tekya and then the same word that later on Baba Nand Singh Ji's ustad Baba Vadawa Singh Ji and their Mahapurush Baba Mahar Nam Singh Ji they used to call Baba Nand Singh Ji Rikhi Ji Rikhi are those Mahapurush who spend many jugs doing tapasya in the mountains right and they gave that title of Rikhi to Baba Nand Singh Ji and Guru Nanak Sahib Ji also called them Rikhi Ji and they said Rikhi Ji daso ki chaunde ho and what do you want and Baba Nand Singh Ji said Maharaj tusi prashad shako we've been sitting here for 6 days now kirpa karke hun please fulfill the desire of our hearts and eat this prashada so Guru Nanak Sahib Ji Maharaj ne prashada shakya te jehda sheet prashad ya that leftover prashad langar they gave it to Baba Nand Singh Ji and Baba Jawan Singh. This is the first time they've eaten in 6 days. They fir is to baad Guru Nanak Sahib Ji Maharaj, they came to this, like we see when Maharaj is very pleased. We hear this when we're doing the Nanak Prakash Katha as well. Maharaj, when they're really pleased, they say, ask what you want to the Guru Sikhs. Just whatever your mind's desire is, ask it. And also mein isi prakar hoya. And when Guru Nanak Sahib Ji asked, ke dasso, ਕੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ what's your ਇੱਛਾ first Baba Jawan Singh Ji spoke so Baba Jawan Singh Ji he used to kirtan already but look at the nimrata they did bੇਨਤੀ to Guru Nanak Sahib Ji ਕਿ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਕੀਰਤਨ ਦੀ ਦਾਤ ਬਖਸ਼ੋ bless me with that ਦਾਤ that I always sing your praises and then when I do your kirtan whenever I'm doing kirtan I should have your darshan so that was the bੇਨਤੀ of Baba Jawan Singh Ji that in the same way that I'm having your darshan now whenever I sing kirtan, you should sit in front of me and listen to that kirtan. Guru Nanak Sahib Ji got really happy and in that state of mehr, in that state of benevolence, they said that not only will you get darshan, ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸਰੋਤੇ ਆ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਝਲਕਾਰੇ ਹੋਣਗੇ even they'll get the flashes of my darshan when you do kirtan. So Baba Jawan Singh Ji later on is said that even great Mahapurush like Baba Aya Singh Ji from the Hoti Mardan, even they would call Baba Jawan Singh Ji and they would listen to kirtan from Baba Jawan Singh Ji. So both a mahan kirtani hoya and you can see the avastha as well. So obviously that's the kirpa that they've taken, Baba Jawan Singh Ji. But now Baba Nand Singh Ji is standing there quiet. The Guru Sahib Ji said, Rikhi Ji dasso tusi ki chaunde, what do you want? And then when Guru Sahib Ji said this, Baba Nand Singh Ji's eyes, they filled with tears and they said, Maharaj, you give me darshan, what else do I want? There's nothing else to ask. The Guru Sahib Ji said, no, I've come here, you got to ask for something now. When Guru Sahib Ji asked again, then Baba Nand Singh Ji ek shabd ucharan kita, Amrita priya bachan tuhare, at sundar manmohan pyare, sabhu mad nirare rahao, raj na chaho, mukt na chaho, man preet charan kamalare. So we all know this shabd, na? I don't want Raj, I don't want the 4 types of muktis, I just want the preet, the love of your charan. So ਉਸ ਸਮੇਂ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਨੂੰ ਬੇਨਤੀ ਕੀਤੀ ਕਿ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ without other than your darshan and the love for your charan, I've got no other ਇੱਛਾ. Guru Sahib ji asked again. 3 ਵਾਰ ਬਚਨ ਹੋ ਗਏ, and as I said, ਤੀਸਰੇ ਵਾਰ you don't more any Mahapurush or Guru Sahib the bachan, you never more it after 3 times. So ਇਸ ਸਮੇਂ it was like a test, you could say, because Baba Nand Singh ji saying I don't want anything, but Guru Sahib ji said you have to ask something. So what is he going to ask? ਉਸ ਸਮੇਂ ਫਿਰ ਹੱਥ ਜੋੜ ਕੇ ਬਾਬਾ ਨੰਦ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੀ ਨੇ ਬੇਨਤੀ ਕੀਤੀ, and these are the exact words Baba Nand Singh ji said, ਕਿ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਕੁਝ ਮੰਗਣਾ ਤਾਂ ਆਉਂਦਾ ਨਹੀਂ, I don't know how to ask. ਕੇਵਲ ਇਤਨੀ ਹੀ ਮੰਗ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਜਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਵੀ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਬਣਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਉਵੇਂ ਹੀ ਆਪ ਦੇ ਬਣਾ ਲਓ, that however we can, make me yours. That's my only request, make me yours. So when Guru Nanak Sahib ji heard this, they laughed, they smiled, and they said, ਨਾਲੇ ਤੇ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਹੋ ਮੰਗਣਾ ਕੁਝ ਨਹੀਂ ਆਉਂਦਾ ਤੇ ਨਾਲੇ ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਵੱਡੀ ਦਾਤ ਮੰਗ ਲਈ. Right? Guru Nanak Sahib ji said to Baba Nand Singh ji that you're saying that you don't know how to ask, but you've asked the greatest gift, because in Gurbani is written, Farida je tu mera hoye raha hai, sab jag tera hoye. So Pad Farid ji says that je tu mera ban jaye. So Vaheguru says that if you become mine, meaning that you leave aside that love for Maya, for more, all the attachments of the world, and you become mine, then all the world will become yours. What that means is those Gurmukhs, those Mahapurush who leave behind all the worldly attachments, Nav Nidhi Athare Siddhi Pichhe Lagiya Phiran Johar Hirday Sada Vasai. They don't want these Riddhiyan Siddhiyan. They don't want fame. They don't want any sort of recognition. But when they give their life to Vaheguru, these things just follow them around. So ਉਸ ਸਮੇਂ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਬਹੁਤ ਖੁਸ਼ ਹੋਏ, and then they gave this hukum to Baba Nand Singh ji ਕਿ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਦੇ ਵਿਹਾਰ ਜੋ ਵੀ ਸਾਰਾ ਕੁਝ ਛੱਡ ਕੇ ਹੁਣ ਸਾਡਾ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਨਾ ਹੈ. ਤੇ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਜੀ ਨੇ ਬਾਬਾ ਨੰਦ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੀ ਨੇ ਫਿਰ ਹੱਥ ਜੋੜ ਕੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ 7 ਬਚਨ ਗਿਆ. So if someone wants to ask the source of this story, because someone could have a doubt or whatever, is that Baba Nand Singh ji, their Hazuri Kirtani was by Gurmukh Singh Ragi. The most famous life story biography of Baba Nand Singh ji, Ananda Chamatkar, is written by them. They've written that later on, so this is obviously when Babaji was in their old age, at one point, Gurmukh Singh Ragi was in the Jatha of Raggis with Baba Nand Singh Ji, traveling with them. And when they were going from Nanaksar to Chang, which is a district, when they were going in the Rasta, that same Gurdwara came, Saragari Gurdwara in Firozpur. And Baba Nand Singh Ji told the Guru Sikhs to stop there, and at the Gurdwara Sahib they did Kirtan. And in the Kirtan, they stopped the Kirtan and they told the Sakhi themselves to Bhai Gurmukh Singh. And they've written it all down. So that's the source we have.
So whilst this is all happening with Babaji, they're not working at this time. So how were they able to sustain themselves in that period of time before they went to Hazur Sahib?
So there's a tradition in the time that jede sadhu jan hege who leave all worldly duties, they're not other sadhus ek sadda karde sige. Meaning they would walk around the pind and then they would say Vaheguru's Naam, and the people in the pind, they would have this sharda that these are sadhus who are just doing simran all the time. So then ਇੱਕ ਪ੍ਰਸ਼ਾਦਾ ਦੋ ਪ੍ਰਸ਼ਾਦਾ from the rest of the ਆਪਣੇ ਘਰ ਵਿੱਚ ਉਹ ਦੇ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਸੀ. And ਜਿਹੜੇ ਵੀ ਸਾਧੂ ਜਨ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਸੀਗੇ, they would have in their mind that, look, they're not with any itcha to have prashada, but in order to keep the body going, they would need 1 or 2 prashada. Right? They need some sustenance to keep the body growing, the body going. Right? They need that energy. So for that, every night or in the evening, they would just walk around the pind. Whoever would give them something, they would take it. If someone doesn't give them something, then they would remain hungry. So in the same way, Baba Nand Singh Ji thought, okay, all the other sadhus are doing this. So whatever Vaheguru will give, I will take that and I will stay on that now. So there's a story, they're passing a Naggar. This is where everything changed and they stopped doing this then after that. So Babaji is going through this village near Amritsar Sahib. And ਉੱਥੇ ਕੋਈ ਮਾਤਾ ਸੀਗੀ, ਕੋਈ ਮਾਈ ਸੀ, the woman of the house who's making the prashada. And when Baba Nand Singh Ji is saying Vaheguru's Naam, obviously anyone can tell they're a sadhu. And any other house would have just given a prashada. But this woman, she looked towards Baba Nand Singh Ji and she said, Apni jwan avastha walata tak kinna sona sareer, kinna sori teri sehtya, te mang khan di kyun vaddi hogi? That you've got such a jwan sareer, you've got such a naujawan sareer, you're so young, that why are you going around asking for prashada? And then she said these words, that this prashada I'm making, my husband is doing hard work in the kheta, I'm going to give this prashada to him first, right? So and I haven't got time for you. This prashada is for my husband, right? And then Baba Nand Singh didn't say anything. They just started to walk on. Jida Saurasi, so meaning the father-in-law who lived in that house, because jire Punjab de Puratan lok ya, they had this sharda, na, that if someone's come to your house, you shouldn't leave them empty-handed. That any guest comes to your house, it's our maryada. Even now, you'll have this in your houses. We don't leave someone. We offer them something, right? And Saura said, the father-in-law said, that mangan gaya so mar gaya, mangan mool na ja. ਭਾਵ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਮੰਗਣ ਹੀ ਆ ਗਿਆ ਉਸਨੂੰ ਖਾਲੀ ਨਾ ਮੋੜ, right? That if someone's come to a house, we shouldn't leave them unattended. We should give them something. So that father-in-law, who's like an old man, he's running after Baba Nand Singh Ji with the prashada. He's like, nahi shako, now we can't let you go. And Baba Nand Singh Ji, because he heard him say them words, right? That if someone comes to your house and you don't give them anything, imagine, like, just consider they're like a dead person, right? And Baba Nand Singh Ji said that main marya nahi haje. ਮੈਨੂੰ ਨਹੀਂ ਪ੍ਰਸ਼ਾਦਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਹੈ ਨਾ ਸੇਵੇ ਉਹ ਅੱਗੇ ਚੱਲ ਗਏ ਐਂਡ ਦੈਨ ਉਸ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਦੀ ਪ੍ਰਸ਼ਾਦਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਮੰਗਿਆ ਬਿਕੋਜ਼ ਦੈਟ ਹੈਡ ਸੱਚ ਅ ਇਫੈਕਟ ਔਨ them. They thought that if that husband of this woman ਉਹਨੂੰ ਪ੍ਰਸ਼ਾਦਾ ਪਹੁੰਚ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਹੈ right the ਪ੍ਰਸ਼ਾਦਾ goes to him ਤਾਂ ਮੈਂ ਤਾਂ ਹੁਣ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਦੀ ਸੇਵਾ ਕਰ ਰਿਹਾ ਤਾਂ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ will look after me ਹੈ ਨਾ ਜਿਵੇਂ ਕਾਹੇ ਰੇ ਮਨ ਚਿਤ ਵਹਿ ਉਦਮ ਜਾਂ ਆਹਰ ਹਰ ਜੀਉ ਪਰਿਆ ਨਾ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ will do kirpa themselves. And then that night when Baba Nand Singh Ji was doing Simran, Akash Bani means like this voice came to them and said that who told you to go and ask for food? That you are ours. So tenu mangan vaste kine bhejya? Tu sada hai. You are ours. Tere adar lai sanu fikr hai. Tenu koi fikr nahi. You don't need to worry. The prashada will come to you. And the rest of Baba Nand Singh Ji's life is known that they never needed to make prashada. The Guru Sikhs always used to bring prashada. Even when Nanaksar was made as a asthan, ਲੰਗਰ was never made there. ਪ੍ਰਸ਼ਾਦਾ ਆਪੇ ਹੀ ਆ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਸੀ ਗੁਰਸਿੱਖ ਸ਼ਰਧਾ ਨਾਲ ਘਰ ਕੇ ਸ਼ੀਸ਼ ਇਸ਼ਨਾਨ ਕਰਕੇ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਇਸਤਰੀਆਂ ਮਾਤਾਵਾਂ ਸੀ ਪ੍ਰਸ਼ਾਦਾ ਤਿਆਰ ਕਰਕੇ ਲਿਆਉਂਦੇ ਸੀ ਹੈ ਨਾ ਸੋ ਇਹ ਫਿਰ ਬਾਬਾ ਨੰਦ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੀ ਨੇ ਇੱਥੇ ਮਨ 'ਚ ਧਾਰਿਆ ਕਿ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਸਿੱਖ ਆ ਉਹ ਦਾਤਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਉਹ ਮੰਗਤਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਆ we don't need to go and ask for anything. So that's where in that time they that was through the prashada. Did you ask about the money as well?
Yeah, just along those lines as well.
So we've already talked about Baba Nand Singh Ji wanting to go to Hazur Sahib. And the travel expenses to go on such a long journey at that time would say about 100 rupiye te laguge. And nowadays, 100 rupiye is nothing, right? Or some which bahut siga. So Baba Nand Singh Ji still had it in their mind that they're 100% going to Hazur Sahib. So when they go there and they realize that it takes about 100 rupiye to get that train ticket all the way to Hazur Sahib, ਫਿਰ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਇਹ ਗੱਲ ਪਤਾ ਲੱਗਿਆ ਕਿ ਇੱਕ ਰੁੜਕੀ ਆ ਜਗ੍ਹਾ and ਉੱਥੇ many Sikh regiments had been stationed there. And ਉਸ ਸਮੇਂ Baba Nand Singh Ji goes to Rudki and then they enlist themselves in the army. A lot of people don't know this, that just like Baba Atar Singh Ji, Baba Karam Singh Ji, all these Mahapurushs, even Baba Nand Singh Ji, for a very small time they enlisted. But they enlisted as the Granthi. Just like Baba Atar Singh Ji as well, they enlisted as a Granthi. And they went into the Seva of the Granthi of the Sikh regiment. When they did that, whatever tankha they would get, so that whatever like 1 or 2 rupiye they would get for a week, they would give that. They wouldn't keep it themselves because, as I said, Baba Nand Singh Ji in their whole life, they never touched money. Baba Nand Singh Ji would give that rupiye to the Granthi. Right, they would tell the officers, give it straight to the Granthi, And then when that would reach to 100, Baba Nand Singh Ji said to the Granthi, then go and get me the ticket. So Baba Nand Singh Ji, they would do Seva every single day, Prakash di Seva, do Charu of the Gurdwara Sahib in the regiment, Maharaj di Seva karni, keep the upkeep of the Gurdwara. And as soon as they came to 100, they left. So ਜਦੋਂ ਉਹ 100 ਤੱਕ ਪਹੁੰਚ ਗਿਆ and ਉਸ ਸਮੇਂ ਇਹ ਵੀ ਦੱਸਿਆ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਆ that because it's just like Baba Atar Singh Ji, they had such an effect on everyone around them that everyone used to keep such satkar of Baba Atar Singh Ji. And Baba Nand Singh Ji as well, the other army, the Singhs in the army or the Granthi Singh, they had so much satkar for Baba Nand Singh Ji, they said that, look, keep this money. And also in their mind, they thought that if we keep this money here, this 100 rupiye, later on Baba Nand Singh Ji might come back to get this. So in their mind, they wanted Baba Nand Singh Ji to come back. They wanted to do more sangat of them. So they said, keep this here. We'll look after your salary. We'll pay for your ticket. The Baba Nand Singh Ji said, Firta yatra thwadi hui. They said, you're going to get the fal for the yatra. They said, nahi, ehi paise laune hai. So that was paid, and then they got the ticket, and that's how they got to Hazur Sahib.
Right. So then when Babaji got to Hazur Sahib, then what did they do? They do Bhagti, did they do Seva? What were they doing when they were there at that time?
Baba Nand Singh Ji, they reached Hazur Sahib. And again, like it will be leading to this moment, because all this time they've been wanting to go to Hazur Sahib. So finally, when they reached Hazur Sahib, they also, as is the custom, they did Darshan of Sachkhand Sahib, they did Darshan of all the asthans around Sachkhand Sahib. And when they reached Sachkhand Hazur Sahib, nowadays things have changed a lot. But also there was a maryada. That only those who were Amritari, Tyar bar Tyar in their death, they could enter the actual building of Sri Hazur Sahib. And they were Paredar. And even those, like for example us, if we went to Hazur Sahib at that time, we would be asked, have you done any Quret? How is your Ret? They would ask the questions, and if you ticked all the boxes, then you could go inside and do Parikarma. Otherwise, you had to do Matha Tek from outside. Because they said the Shaheedi Pera around Takht Sahib was so much that any Singh who wasn't Tyar bar Tyar in their Ret, then they'd get it from the Shaheed Singhs. So Singh jere pੈ vi rakhde si, and they said this was all the way up to Baba Joginder Singh Ji Moni's time. So jere recently one of the most respected Jathedars, because the local Hazuri Sangat, they've got a lot of satkar for Baba Joginder Singh Ji Moni Ji. So in their time, they did benti to Maharaj, because the Gursikhs went to Baba Moni Ji and they did benti ke tusi kirpa karo, Maharaj nu benti karo ke jara sakt ਘੇਰਾ ਹੈਗਾ around Takht Sahib ਨੂੰ ਘਟਾਓ ਹੁਣ. So that's when Baba Moni did hukum, and now we see that it's only in the actual Sachkhand Sahib and the area where Maharaj Prakash, they're very careful who can go in there. Now, not anyone can go in there. You have to be Amritari, you have to be Tyar bar Tyar, Keshi Ishnan. And obviously the inner Sachkhand, only Baba Kulwant Singh Ji can go in there. So at that time, the whole area of the Gurdwara Sahib, only Amritari Singhs could go in. And the Jathedar at that time, head Pujari, was Baba Hira Singh Ji. So Baba Hira Singh Ji, they were from Punjab, a pind called Sena pind. And from what I've seen, they were one of the longest serving Jathedars of Takht Sahib. I think, I might be wrong, I think it's about 80 years or plus they did Seva. They did Seva for a long time. In between they had a break, and then they came back and they did more Seva. So Baba Hira Singh Ji, there's a lot of Sakhi about him. Maybe another time we can do. But they saw how Baba Nand Singh Ji, as soon as they got to Takht Sahib, at all times they'd be sitting there, just chonkdi maar ke bhakti karde, simran karde. Na? And Baba Hira Singh Ji asked Baba Nand Singh Ji, why are you here? Baba Nand Singh Ji said, I'm here for Seva. Baba Hira Singh Ji said, if you want to do Seva, then the maryada here is if you take Amrit. And then straight away Baba Nand Singh Ji said Sat Bachan. So that's when Baba Nand Singh Ji took Amrit at Hazur Sahib. They were blessed with Amrit, Didat. And then Baba Hira Singh was so, you could say, taken aback by the Simran that Baba Nand Singh Ji was doing, that all night he would just sit around Takht Sahib doing Simran day and night. And when Baba Nand Singh Ji asked Baba Hira Singh Ji that I want to do Seva, give me a Seva. And they said, Baba Hira Singh said, ke tere vaste sari seva khulli hai, dasso ke tankha ki chahidi hai. Because kai sevadar hai, there's many people who do seva, Granth Singh, various people, they need money to upkeep their family. And then Baba Nand Singh said, I don't want no money. I'm not here for money. They said, main prashada langar vichon shak luga, mainu bas seva baksho. So Baba Nand Singh said, give me the seva, which is the most uttam seva. The also Baba Hira Singh Ji said that the greatest seva you can do is that Maharaj de Asthan vaste every single morning 12 ਵਜੇ ਤੋਂ 20 ਮਿੰਟ ਪਿੱਛੋਂ Godavari to jal le aaya janda hai. So we see even now Gursikh brings Gaggar from Godavari, and now it's all lit up, right? Now you got like 100 or 200, 300 Gursikhs around you, right? Back then there was no one. You had to do that by yourself. There'd be many wild animals. There was forests. So at that time, Hazur Sahib, from Hazur Sahib to Godavari is all forest. You had to go through the forest to the banks, get the water, and come back by yourself.
Now it's like all pavements.
There's pavement. It's lit up now. The whole path is lit up, right?
The roads are not too bad.
Even then, it's hard.
Yeah.
If you see the saying, he's got Barsha in one hand, he's got the Gaggar on one shoulder, and imagine how heavy that Gaggar is. He has to walk the whole way, and he has to pray that, like, dig in now. Like, if we'd be doing, we'd be scared, isn't it? Okay, it doesn't spill or anything like that. And they walk with so much speed as well. So even now it's scary, but imagine that time, 100 times scarier, right? And they said, this is the Seva. And Baba Nand Singh Ji straight away said Sat Bachan. So from that time, for about a year or so, Baba Nand Singh Ji then started doing that Seva, right? And this Mahan Seva of taking that jal, which was used to clean the Takht Sahib of Guru Gobind Singh Ji. So when that time happens, then during that time, it's said that many different Guru Sahib give darshan to Baba Nand Singh Ji. So the first darshan they have is of Guru Harkrishan Ji Maharaj. And that darshan, Baba Nand Singh Ji told this to Sardar Sampuran Singh Ji. So these are all eyewitness accounts, who then hearing these bachans from Baba Nand Singh Ji, then Gursikhs wrote them down. So this Sardar Sampuran Singh Ji, he told this, that Baba Nand Singh Ji told him that when he was doing the Gaggar di Seva Amrit Vele, he would see that, you know, the main darwaja of Sri Hazur Sahib that goes into the Sachkhand Sahib, right? So where you have the Prakash of Guru Granth Sahib Ji, so you have Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji and Sri Dasam Guru Granth Sahib Ji. You have two swarups of each Guru Granth Sahib Ji Prakash. Then you have a Khandpal Sahib. It's kind of like, what would you say, like half a square, facing the main darwaja. Then you have the main darwaja, those golden doors that Baba Kulwant Singh Ji opens and goes inside. So imagine you're sitting there and you see a child just walking in front of them doors. You'll probably be like, how's that child got there? Because no one else can get there. And Baba Nand Singh Ji, a few times they saw this small child with a lot of pratap, a lot of prakash coming from their mukh, and he'd be walking this way, that way, right? The Baba Nand Singh Ji thought, how has this child got there? But they would never say anything because they realized this is some Agammi Jot. But then later on, when they had darshan of Guru Nanak Sahib Ji again, Guru Nanak Sahib Ji said that wasn't an ordinary child, that was Guru Harkrishan Sahib Ji giving you darshan. So that's the first darshan they had. And then it's said that many times while doing the seva, they had darshan of Guru Gobind Singh Ji as well. So those, just like Baba Atar Singh Ji Jeevan, they're not opened up. But we know Baba Ji had that darshan. But that time that they had, they didn't really open up too much about that. But there's other instances that come later on.
Right, Guru. And just before we carry on, when it comes to Gaggar di Seva, for Sangha that are watching this, what is that? As in, how can we get involved in that? Can we be a part of that?
The actual Gaggar di Seva is given to a certain Gursikh, right? That Gursikh does the Gaggar di Seva.
Yeah.
What that is that this big brass pitcher is filled with water from the Godavari. Because when Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj resided at Hazur Sahib, that jal would come from the river Godavari, right? So to this day, the jal is taken from Godavari all the way to Sri Hazur Sahib. And alongside the jal from Godavari, there's also a khu, which is in the vicinity of Hazur Sahib. So when you go there, just when you enter the main gate, on your left-hand side, there's a well there. So first they'll take one Gaggar from Godavari, then a second Gaggar from that khu. All that water is taken and placed in front of Takht Sahib. And then Baba Kulwant Singh Ji, or the head Pujari, you'll see the first thing they do is that they get the kirpan and they do pog to it. So they make it blessed. Then they take that inside and then they close the doors. During that time, because all the shastras have been taken off the Takht Sahib, then they do Ishnan of the Takht Sahib with that jal. So that seva, only the Gagri Singh takes the jal. But what happens now is very beautiful, that all the Gursikhs, they assemble at the Gaggar Kund. So Gaggar Kund is that place, it's like this sectioned off place where the water is filtered, I think. And then the Singh takes the jal from there. And then all the Gursikhs, I don't know the time. I don't know if you know the time.
I think it's 1:45 in the morning.
So from
Sachkhand.
So I think the Gagri Singh, he does Ardas first at Sachkhand, then they walk to Godavari. All the Sanghas waiting there, they do Simran, and then they do Ardas, then they take the Gaggar, and then you can actually walk with the Gagri Singh. So you can see that distance. You know? It's about maybe 15 minutes it takes to walk there. But now it's clear, right? Back then, it's like you're going through this jungle to the water. There's no lights, nothing. You know? So that Seva is there. And you can like, get involved in the sense you can witness it happen itself, you know?
And just with that, then, is any other Sakhi when it comes to Guru Sahib's Darshan?
So there's a very beautiful story which it doesn't link to this time period, but I thought it links very nicely with Hazur Sahib and the relationship that Baba Nand Singh Ji had with Guru Gobind Singh Ji. So because like there's not really a lot written about Baba Nand Singh Ji having like what conversations did they have with Dasan Pacha at Hazur Sahib, but there is written about later on. You know? So what happens is that later on, so this is much after the period. I think this is even after Baba Nand Singh Ji met the Vidya Guru and the Mahapurush Baba Mahar Nam Singh. It's after that. So Baba Nand Singh Ji later on, they go to a place which is called Magyana Pind. And utthe de jiri sangat hegi they came to Baba Nand Singh Ji. And they did benti that there's a Mussalman here called Bahawal Haq. And this is a time when that sort of communal tensions had started. This is before partition, but those sort of tensions had started. And this Bahawal Haq, he had got together all the other Muslims. And you can read this even in the old newspapers, or the British newspapers, where you'd see like these sort of communal riots had started. Where like, Piche, in our previous history, everyone used to live together peacefully. When these sort of, this policy of divide and conquer by the British was put, then those people for many, many centuries, Muslims, Hindus, Hindu Dharam, and Sikhs, they'd lived together peacefully as brothers in Pinds. There was no violence. But when that divide and conquer policy was put down, you'd see that those people, families lived together for generations. Now they'd start to fight each other. Now there's riots and so on. So this Bahawal Haq, he had got together all the Muslims of the surrounding Pinds, of all the surrounding villages, and he had started to attack those who were not Muslims, so those who were like Hindu or Sikh. And already there was a Pind called Adampur, and they had totally ransacked it. And they would go there, they would loot all the houses, and then they would even dishonor the daughters of them houses. They would do many, many paap. And his second now focus was on that Magyana Pind. And there was there's a river in between that he would have to cross to go to that Pind. And he had already set camp on the other side. So they knew he was coming soon, right? So all them Gursikhs, they went to Baba Nand Singh Ji, who had coincidentally, they were very near to that Magyana Pind at that time. They were at Asthan doing Bhagti at that time. So they go to Baba Nand Singh Ji and they do Benti ke this is the situation. And Baba Nand Singh Ji said that, why have you come to me? Go to Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj, who is the Pratak, the very form of Guru Nanak Dev Ji, and do Ardas. Guru Sahib will help you. He said, Baba Ji, aap ki kariye, na? Give us a way to do Ardas. So then Baba Nand Singh Ji said, is prakar karo, do this. There's two pins next to each other, Magyana and Bagh. However many Guru Granth Sahib Ji Swaroops are there, do a Sahaj part from every single Swaroop. So at that time, there wouldn't be a lot of Swaroops. Maybe there was like 2-3 Swaroops in each pin. So start a Sahaj part from every single Swaroop. So in that way, all the Gursikhs of the pin, they'll be reading Bani, isn't it? So Baba Nand Singh Ji used this as like a vidhi, as a way to make them all do part. Because if they said just do one part, then there'd be one party, right? Yeah. Because they said every single Swaroop in both pins do parts from it, then all those who had Santhya, they'd have to come together and do the parts together. They said do the Sahaj parts and do Ardas to Maharaj. Maharaj will help you. So the Gursikhs go back to their pins and they start doing the Sahaj parts. At the same time, that same night at 12:30, because Baba Nand Singh Ji, every single day at 12:30, they would do a Shnan. And usually Baba Nand Singh Ji would sit in concentration of the vision of Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj. That was their practice, right? Every single day, Guru Nanak Sahib Ji dhyan tarde si. But today, they changed it. They started to do yad or focus on Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj. And it's said that at that time, because you probably heard this before, it's like a traditional saying that Guru Gobind Singh Ji spends a certain amount of hours at Hazur Sahib, and then the other hours in the rest, like helping everyone. It's like a common saying, you probably heard it, right? Sunya hoga na?
Anji.
What it means is that Maharaj Hazur Sahib pratak vartade. When we go to Hazur Sahib, we have that, the very name indicates that, Hazur. Hazur means presence, right? When you go to Hazur Sahib, Maharaj's presence is felt there, right? That means they're there. Now, when you go there, you get that sort of, your hairs stand on end, just going there and witnessing everything. So, Maharaj o samay Hazur Sahib, Pujari Sahib nu uthaya. So, when Baba Nand Singh Ji, sitting in a Magyana, have started to focus on Guru Gobind Singh Ji, at the same time, Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj, apne charna de naal, they've woken up the Pujari. So, we could say now, like with Baba Kulwant Singh Ji, at that time it was Baba Hira Singh Ji, right? They've woken up Baba Hira Singh Ji, and they've said to him, ke Pujari Ji, asi kise karj vaste ja rahe. Because especially at that time of Amrit Vela, they say that Guru Gobind Singh Maharaj is pratak there, right? Maharaj ta har vakti hajar najar ya, ਪਰ ਉਹ ਸਮੇਂ ਖਾਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਦੱਸਿਆ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਕਿ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਗੁਰਸਿੱਖ ਪੁਜਾਰੀ ਸਿੰਘ ਆ ਉਹ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਦੇ ਦਰਸ਼ਨ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਪ੍ਰਤੱਖ ਨਾ at that time. ਤੇ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਕਿਸੇ ਕਾਰਜ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਜਾ ਰਹੇ ਆ, ਇੱਥੇ ਖਿੱਚ ਦੀ ਅਰਦਾਸ ਨਾ ਕਰੋ. What that means is don't do ardas for us to be hazir at Hazur Sahib, because we're going to do a job somewhere, we're going to do something somewhere. So Pujari ji, they stayed chup. What happened is that when they went to Seva in the morning, and ਉਸ ਸਮੇਂ ਇੱਕ ਦਾਤਨ ਰੱਖੀ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਸੀ. So ਦਾਤਨ is from the Nim tree. Purane Gursikh, now we have toothbrushes. Purane Samaya, they would use this datan, they would bite it and make like a brush from it. And that neem tree had a lot of properties in it. So that would keep your teeth clean from any cavities or anything like that. So, Ajavi Kaijir Nihang Singh, who stay in the Babek Dapero, other Gursikhs who stay Babeki, they don't use toothpaste because they don't know where it's come from. They'll still use datan. You know? I think even in the Islamic culture, it's called the miswak, even they use it. So, ਜਿਹੜੀ ਦਾਤਨ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਦੇ ਸਾਹਮਣੇ ਰੱਖਦੇ ਸੀ, ਖਾਲਸੇ ਵਿੱਚ there's a tradition that after you've used the ਦਾਤਨ once, you don't use it again and again. ਉਹ ਦਾਤਨ ਨੂੰ ਪਾੜਿਆ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਆ. So they rip the ਦਾਤਨ and they throw it. All right? There's even a Gurdwara Sahib, I think, called Gurdwara Datan Sahib or something, where Maharaj threw the Datan, and there's a trees grew from that. So Maharaj every single day, when Baba Hira Singh Ji would go into the Takhat Sahib, the Datan padi hundi si. Meaning that Maharaj has used it. Yeah? But today they went in, the Datan wasn't padi hui. So then they remembered the bachan, that Maharaj said, don't do ardas here today for me to be hazir, I'm going. So ਉਸ ਸਮੇਂ ਕੀ ਹੋਇਆ ਕਿ ਬਾਬਾ ਨੰਦ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੀ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ, ਉੱਥੇ ਕਲਗੀਧਰ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹ ਤੇ ਸ਼ਹੀਦੀ ਫੌਜ ਸਾਰੇ ਆ ਗਏ, ਦਰਸ਼ਨ ਦਿੱਤੇ ਤੇ ਬਾਬਾ ਨੰਦ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੀ. ਤੇ ਬਾਬਾ ਨੰਦ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੀ ਨੇ ਉਸ ਸਮੇਂ ਬੜੇ ਆਦਰ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਗੁਰੂ ਗੋਬਿੰਦ ਸਿੰਘ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਨੂੰ ਇੱਕ ਆਸਨ ਤੇ ਬਿਠਾਇਆ ਤੇ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਨੂੰ ਨਮਸਕਾਰ ਕੀਤਾ, ਮੱਥਾ ਟੇਕਿਆ. ਅਤੇ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਸੈਡ ਕਲਗੀਧਰ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹ ਗੁਰੂ ਗੋਬਿੰਦ ਸਿੰਘ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਸੈਡ ਕਿ ਰਿਖੀ ਜੀ ਅੱਜ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਯਾਦ ਕੀਤਾ ਕੀ ਕਾਰਨ, ਯੂ ਰਿਮੈਂਬਰਡ ਅਸ ਟੁਡੇ. ਤੇ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਨੂੰ ਫਿਰ ਬੇਨਤੀ ਕੀਤੀ that ਜ਼ਾਲਮ ਫੌਜ, that tyrant ਫੌਜ, they're on the other side of the darya and they're going to do hamla, they're going to attack all these innocent people. Okay, Maharaj, only you can protect us. Tusi kirpa karo. So Guru Gobind Singh Maharaj just did this ashara to the Shahidi Fauj, and the Shahidi Fauj all went. So Maharaj di Shahidi Fauj on the other side of the river, utthe sare pahunch gaye, tiyar bar tiyar, kodeyan te. And when those Muslims, they woke up in the morning, and it said they were all ratnu, they were having many nashe and sharab, and they were hungover from the previous night, right? And when as soon as they saw that across the river there's these thousands of Singhs, they hungover straight away. वो सारा ले गया, है ना? They also some of the nashe सारे उतर गए, and they're totally astonished that where's this army come from, right? And obviously they had no himmat to go further. And then it's even said that they could even hear sounds of like cannons in the distance. Then they thought कि Singha कोल तो बहुत कुछ हैगा, कि if we go towards there, then we're going to be finished. By that time, ਜਿਹੜੀ Lahore ਦੀ military ਆ, ਉਹ ਵੀ ਪਹੁੰਚ ਗਈ. So the military at that time would try and like subdue or like squash all these sort of riots and stuff. So in the time that they didn't have the himmat to go forward, ਉੱਥੇ military ਪਹੁੰਚ ਗਈ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਸਾਰੇ ਨੂੰ arrest ਕਰ ਲਿਆ. ਤੇ ਸ਼ਹੀਦੀ ਫੌਜ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਕੋਲ ਵਾਪਸ ਆ ਗਈ. And ਜਿਹੜੀ ਸੰਗਤ ਹੈਗੀ ਨਾ, what are they seeing is the barge of Maharaj. So it's commonly seen where we see a barge circling, like Maharaj da barge, because Maharaj used to keep a barge. And then Baba Nand Singh Ji told their sevak, Bhai Uttam Singh Ji, go and serve the barge. So ek churi hundi hai, churi is like roti and shakkar, they grind it up. So that ground shakkar and roti, they gave that to the barge. And Bhai Uttam Singh Ji did 4 parkarmas around the barge and they bowed to the barge ke Guru Gobind Singh Maharaj de barge hai. So us to baad Maharaj alop ho gaye. And all the Guru Sikhs came to Baba Nand Singh Ji and they started to thank Baba Nand Singh Ji, started to bow to Baba Nand Singh Ji. Baba Ji said, what are you doing? They said, you saved us our share. If you didn't do this, we would have been destroyed, right? And Baba Ji laughed and they said, Gurmukho, tusi Guru Granth Sahib Ji, Maharaj de sahaj paat kite, Maharaj samne tusi beintiyan kitiyan, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਸੁਣ ਕੇ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਰੱਖਿਆ ਕੀਤੀ ਆ, ਮੈਂ ਤਾਂ ਕੁਛ ਨਹੀਂ ਕੀਤਾ, right? That it's because you did the part of Guru Granth Sahib Ji that Guru Gobind Singh Maharaj got happy and came here. ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਮੈਂ ਤਾਂ ਕੁਛ ਨਹੀਂ ਕੀਤਾ, ਹਨਾ? ਤੇ ਇਹ ਤਾਂ ਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਦੀ ਕਲਾ ਆ, ਇਹ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਦੀ it's the nature of Guru Sahib that ਵਡਿਆਈ ਗੁਰਮੁਖ ਦੇ ਪ੍ਰਭ ਹਰ ਪਾਵੈ ਸੂਈ, right? That Guru Sahib gives the ਵਡਿਆਈ to the Guru Sikhs, ਹਨਾ? So Baba Nand Singh said, this is Guru Sahib doing everything. I haven't done anything. So even in that, like we could have used that situation if that was us. That look, because of me, you got saved. Yeah. But Baba Nand Singh Ji used to use these situations to join people to Guru Granth Sahib Ji and said that, look, Guru Granth Sahib Ji saved you. Make your path now, Guru Granth Sahib Ji. Don't come to me again. You did the parts, Maharaj came here. To see Maharaj de samne jao, you don't need to come to me. And it's said that whenever anyone used to come to Baba Nand Singh Ji, the first thing they used to say is go to Guru Granth Sahib Ji and do Ardas. That was their bhavna. No? So a lot of people today, they do these shankas that all these Mahapurushas used to join to themselves, right? It kadi bhi nahi hoya. You can read all of Baba Ji's itihas. Every single time they said, go to Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj and do Ardas. So that's a very beautiful Sakhi.
I think we've had loads of Sakhi on Darshans, but I think in my head I was thinking this is the most epic one I've heard so far. Yeah. Not to say one's better than the other one, but 100%
this Sakhi, it didn't actually fit here. Yeah. But I made it fit.
It was really good, that one. Proper epic, so good kid, but I'm sure the song of the love hearing that. And just kind of to go on another topic, but it's still related, we talk a lot about Babaji's Bhagti. What about their Vidya though? Gurbani Vidya and these kind of things.
Hanji, so this is going back to when they were at Hazur Sahib. So they had done Seva, that Mahan Seva, Gaggar di Seva for a year. Then around that time, it's said that one day when Baba Nand Singh Ji was resting, that someone just moved them. And when they moved them, they woke up and they heard a voice saying, Vidya Pado. That's it, Vidya Pado. And then man ch khyal aaya ke Vidya kitho padna? And then the voice said, Guru ki Kanchi. So Guru ki Kanchi is the, in Banaras, that's the greatest center of learning. Even today, if someone wants to become a scholar in the Sanatan Dharam, they have to go to Kanchi, right, to learn Vidya there. And Guru Sahib Ji said that Damdama Sahib is my Kanchi. And that hai Paragat Hamari Kanchi. So even this year, we went to Gurdwara Nanaksar Sahib. Nanaksar Sahib is where Maharaj is given that Vardhan. Whoever comes with Sharda and writes the 35 Akhar, does Ishnan, does Ardas, they will get all the Vidya. So that Asthan is where Guru Gobind Singh Maharaj taught the Sampradaya Arth, where they did the complete, where they wrote Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji from the hands of Bhai Mani Singh Ji. They recited it from memory. And then whatever was written in one day, they would do katha of that. And 48 Singhs, they learnt them arths from Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj. Out of which Bhai Mani Singh Ji and Baba Deep Singh Ji, khas karke, all the Guru Sikh, they taught them further. But khas karke Baba Mani Singh Ji and Baba Deep Singh Ji is famous ke unhone fir agge Baba Deep Singh Ji ne Damdama Sahib reh ke, they taught them arths further. And Bhai Mani Singh Ji was sent to Amritsar Sahib. So Damdama Sahib, even at that time, it was a great center of learning. And because that's the Kanchi of the Guru, Guru Gobind Singh Maharaj is sending Baba Nand Singh Ji to go and take Vidya now. And also it's said that Baba Nand Singh Ji just boarded the train. They did Ardas, boarded the train. Maharaj Ji Kalasi, no one checked if they had a ticket or anything, and they went to Damdama Sahib.
Right.
When they go to Damdama Sahib, it was said that they didn't know where to go, and then Guru Sahib Ji guided them that go to Lehre Khane. And in Lehre Khane, which is not too far from Damdama Sahib itself, there was a Mahan Vidwan and a Gurmukh called Baba Vadava Singh Ji. There's even a photograph of Baba Ji, will add it. And at that time, Damdama Sahib, not only was it a center for Santya and Katha, also writing calligraphy. So, Likhariyan di Taksal, jithe people used to learn how to write Gurmukhi and then write Swarups of Guru Granth Sahib Ji, Dasam Bani, Ithas, right? And Baba Vadava Singh Ji's handwritten Guru Granth Sahib Ji is still at that dera. And I've got some photos of it, we'll add it in, and you can see how beautiful their writing was. So this was actually taught to Guru Sikhs, how to write each akkar in a certain style. That style was called Damdami Likhai. So that was a certain style. When you look at that Swarup, you can tell it's that style.
Right.
So Baba Vadava Singh Ji used to write Maharaj this Swarup. They used to teach young children Santya. Then they used to teach them the arts of Gurbani. And Baba Nand Singh Ji, according to the hukam of Guru Sahib, they turn up at Lehre Khane. There's another story before that, right? That Baba Vadava Singh Ji, while they're teaching Santya, one day this Jyotshi arrives. And Jyotshi is a Vidya, right? Whether you accept it or not, it's a accepted Vidya in the different types of Vidya. So Jyotshi means that how to read someone's hand and so on, right? So that Jyotish looks at the hand of Baba Vadava Singh Ji, and then they said that आप जी ਨੂੰ ਇਹ ਪ੍ਰਸੰਨਤਾ ਹੋਵੇਗੀ ਕਿ ਆਪ ਜੀ ਦੇ ਪਾਸ ਇੱਕ ਐਸਾ ਸੇਵਕ ਪੜ੍ਹਾਈ ਲਈ ਆ ਰਿਹਾ, that such a sevak is coming to you to learn, that on his mastak is Jalal and he is joint with Vaheguru. And that sevak of yours who's going to become your vidyarthi, who's going to become your student, ਉਹਨੇ ਆਪ ਜੀ ਦੇ ਤਪ ਨੂੰ ਜਗਤ ਵਿੱਚ ਰੋਸ਼ਨ ਕਰਨਾ ਆ, and ਉਸ ਦਾ ਪ੍ਰਤਾਪ 4 ਕੁੰਟਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਚਮਕੇਗਾ. So he's saying that such a student is going to come to you. Not only is his own pratap 4 kunta, which in all 4 directions, everyone's going to know who Baba Nand Singh Ji is. Not only that, but then your tap, unhe bhi jagat vich roshan karna hai. To this day, we're talking about Baba Vadava Singh Ji. Kinne vidwan honge, we don't take their name, but Baba Vadava Singh Ji we remember. So Baba Vadava Singh Ji already had this inkling that Baba Nand Singh Ji was coming. And when Baba Nand Singh Ji arrives at Lehre Khane, they do fateh to Baba Vadava Singh Ji, and they say ke is kukar nu padao. So kukar is a word. It comes in Gurbani. Hum kukar tere darbar, hai na. So this is showing the nimrata of Baba Nand Singh Ji, hai na. So Baba Nand Singh Ji ne us samay nimrata vich aake kiya. And then usi samay, just seeing the pratap, that glow from Baba Nand Singh Ji's face, Baba Vadava Singh Ji knew that this is who that Jyotish was talking about. And they said, Aao ji, ji ayanu. And then they sat Baba Nand Singh Ji down. And then, as is the Maryada of Santya, we don't just start doing Santya, we do Ardas first to Guru Sahib. Okay, Maharaj, please bless us to learn this Brahm Vidya. So Baba Vadava Singh Ji went in front of Guru Granth Sahib Ji, did Ardas for Agya to learn Santya. And then Baba Nand Singh Ji da hath farke, just like Likhansar Sahib, we saw that they write in sand, na? Us samay isi prakar padhaya janda si. Unhone ne fir hath farke Uda likhaya. Uda likhaya, and then they said Uda bol. Na? Then Baba Nand Singh Ji said Uda. They fir Uda, Eda, Edi, Sassa, Ha Ha. Then when they said Ha Ha, and then after Ha Ha, Baba Vadava Singh Ji said Katya Jama Ka Faha. Na Uda, Eda, Edi, Sassa, Ha Ha, Katya Jama Ka Faha. That those who join with this Gurmukhi, because via this Gurmukhi they're going to join to Gurbani. And when you join to Gurbani, Katya Jama Ka Faha. That Faha, that noose of the Jamdut, Katya gaya. So learning Gurmukhi gets rid of that noose of Jamdut. And then Baba Nand Singh Ji repeated it as well. So that way, Baba Nand Singh Ji, they learned Vidya from Baba Vadava Singh Ji. They became the Ustad. But then, वो पढ़ते सी, पढ़ के वो जंगल में चल जाते सी. ते वो किसी ना गल नहीं सी करते. ते उन्नी दुनिया तोड़े बंदना अन पानी थोड़ा खाया. कुछ शक दे नहीं सी ज़्यादा. Al Pahar vich lende si. They would take that vidya from Baba Vadava Singh Ji, but they wouldn't really communicate with anyone else. Now, it was very clear that Baba Nand Singh Ji was there for Bhagti. They always remain in that state of Bhagti.
Just a random question. Did Babaji know then Vidya before, like Benti Akkad and stuff, or was that not made clear?
I don't think they did because I'm not saying this with surety.
Yeah.
I'm just saying this from what I've read. Because there was no formal schools at that time in the area, Baba Nand Singh just went straight into working for the family. You know? So ਇਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਉਹ ਪੜ੍ਹੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀਗੇ ਉਸ ਤੇ ਭਾਈ ਭਗਤ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੀ ਪੜ੍ਹੇ ਸੀਗੇ, so they used to hear the Sakhi from them, but ਆਪ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀ ਪੜ੍ਹੇ. So this is when they started to read. Obviously they had the Mool Mantar and Guru Mantar Kant, so that's the abhyas they used to do.
Yeah.
But in terms of actually reading, this is only after this they started to. This is when they got all the vidya. ਫਿਰ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਸੰਥਿਆ ਪੜ੍ਹਾਈ ਗਈ, ਅਰਥ ਸਾਰਾ ਕੁਝ ਇੱਥੇ ਫਿਰ ਦਮਦਮਾ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਵਿੱਚ ਆ ਕੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਪੜ੍ਹੇ ਸੀ.
And then how does this link to them meet in their Mahapurush then?
So Baba Har Singh Ji, and the reason why we're going to end it quite soon now is because I think that I don't want to rush too much because there's a lot to cover with Baba Har Singh Ji. And similar to like Sant Sundar Singh Ji's podcast, we had a section where we talked about their Vidya Guru, Baba Bishan Singh Ji, in some detail. And I think Baba Har Singh Ji, the next podcast will talk quite a bit about them. So I'm not going to go too much into the time that Baba Nand Singh Ji spent with Baba Har Singh Ji. But that Bhagti I read earlier, कि नव निधि 18 सिद्धि पिछियां लगियां फिरन जो हर हिरदे सदा वसाए. You'll see that in Baba Har Singh Ji's life. All the riddhiyan, siddhiyan, shaktiyan, they were revolving around them all the time. There's some next level stories from their life story. And Baba Har Singh Ji, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਇੱਦਾਂ ਵੀ ਦੱਸਿਆ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਸੀ ਕਿ they always used to keep a parda on their face. I don't know if you ever heard this. So they didn't used to show their face to anyone, because they had so much pratap from their face. In Bhagti nahi si, there's so much pratap, and it said that once, I'll just very quickly, we can tell this in the next podcast in more detail. There was this Hankari Mussalman Peer, right? A lot of Hankar, and he tried to talk down to Baba Har Singh Ji, and he said, "What have you received from your Guru?" Right? And I'm just paraphrasing this very shortly. And then Baba Har Singh Ji just lifted up their parda, and that Peer fainted. That there was that much pratap from their mukh that he couldn't take it. So this is the type of Mahapurush we're talking about. And what happens is that Baba Nand Singh Ji, when they're taking that vidya from Baba Vadava Singh Ji, they would go outside of the Lehra Khana. There was like forests around, and they would just go into Samadhi. And they used to do so much Bhagti that one day they went into the forest to do Bhagti, and 3 days went by and they didn't come back to the Vidyallah. And Baba Nand Singh Ji inne apne tapasya de vich samadhi vich leen ho gaye ke one passerby realized, and they saw that Baba Nand Singh Ji was just in this samadhi, right? And they came to Baba Vadava Singh Ji, and they said that thada sevak jehda hai ਉਹਨੂੰ ਤਾਂ ਸਰੀਰ ਦੀ ਸੁੱਧ ਵੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਆ, like he's lost all conscious, because the way they saw it, they looked like he had fainted. Baba Nand Singh Ji was in Samadhi, but the passerby just looked like he had passed out. And Baba Vadava Singh Ji, usi waqt, they took Sevaks with them, they took Gursikhs with them, and they picked up Baba Nand Singh Ji's sareer, put them on a manja, and then they realized that I can't give anything further to Baba Nand Singh Ji now, right? That they're at such a high level. Baba Vadava Singh Ji had also done Sangat of Baba Har Singh Ji. So for them, that was also like their Gurudev. And they realized that I need to take Rikhi Ji, Baba Nand Singh Ji to Baba Har Singh Ji. So that's when it's about, Putjo is not too far from Damdama Sahib, about 6 miles from Damdama Sahib. They're carrying Baba Nand Singh Ji on the manja. Baba Nand Singh Ji still in Samadhi. And they take Baba Nand Singh Ji to Baba Har Singh Ji. And then what happens there, that's in the next podcast. So I think I've taken some heat from the comments where they say the podcasts are too long. I think we'll ਇੱਥੇ ਆਪਾਂ just ਸਮਾਪਤੀ ਕਰ ਲੈਂਦੇ ਆ. ਤੇ then about Baba, because Baba Har Singh Ji is a big part of Baba Nand Singh Ji's life. And how Baba Nand Singh Ji gets the blessings from Baba Mahar Singh Ji. We can cover that in more detail. And like, because there's so much information on Baba Nand Singh Ji, it's very hard to get all the details in. So I think it's better if we space it out a little bit.
That's a proper cliffhanger. That's what I'm saying. You kind of finished it off there. Just for the Sangha that are listening, then, what are we going to be doing next? And what's after this podcast? Is it part 2? Is it something else? Another Mahapurush?
Hanji. So I think with this, Maharaj Kirpa Karan, if it's pleasing to Maharaj, we'll try and do this part 2 sooner than later. So we won't wait till the next Barsi. I think we'll try and do it quicker, because this part 1 and 2 will kind of be like what was normally a part 1 of the other podcasts. So we kind of get to that point when Baba Nand Singh Ji starts vicharing in the Sangat. We'll try and get to that point, and then we can, in maybe the third podcast, we can go more into the other Sakhi and Bachans of Baba Nand Singh Ji. The second podcast, I think, will just be about the time of Baba Mahar Singh Ji and all that sort of period, going into that sort of the midpoint of Baba Nand Singh Ji's life. And then hopefully with Maharaji's Kirpa, we're going to try and do Baba Mit Singh Ji, Nihang Singh, who made the sthan of Mata Sahib Devanji at Hazur Sahib. So that great Mahapurush, whose Jivan again is amazing Jivan, and it hasn't really been put into English as far as I know so far. So Maharaj Kirpana will try and do Baba Mit Singh Ji, and that will link in with their Barsi, which is around September, October time. And also the Shera. So the Shera is coming up. Every year we do Maharaj Kirpa Dinal, the Shere Mahatam De Part. In them part, which is from the time of Guru Gobind Singh Ji. And the evidence for that is in Bansavali Nama and Suraj Prakash. So when you read Suraj Prakash, it's very clear, it's written there that during the days of the Shera, Guru Sahib Ji hukam ke jiri Chandi di part hai, which is full of Beer Ras, o part padne. And during the 9 days, we do Chandi di part. So that Maryada was reinvigorated into the Panth by Baba Mit Singh Ji. So it's Baba Mit Singh Ji who restarted on a big level the Shere Mahatam De Part to the level where they would get Gursikhs to write the Pothiyan. So now we have like the Shera Mahatam Pothi printed by Hazur Sahib, right? Baba Mit Singh Ji get written by Gursikhs and get them parts done. So their Jeevani is amazing, and hopefully in conjunction with their Barsi, we'll go through their Jeevani.
Chalo, I think that's the end of the podcast. Any final comments? What do you think?
No.
Buddy, thank you so much. I think I wasn't going to say this, but I think it's probably my favorite Gurmukh series so far. Not to say any others weren't, but I think this one was just fantastic. So thank you so much for all your courage and for sharing all this. I look forward to part 2 and seeing it on the other side, saying Hanji for 2-3 hours. So thank you so much, Ji. We'll finish off there. Please check out the previous Gurmukh series as well. We've got a whole playlist on Boss TV for them. So do check those out, and then Guru Kirpa Kar will carry on doing this Seva. So thank you so much, Ji. Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.